I've been ready. I just wanted to grab the chat room. So.
Well, we're live, so now you're talking over my intro.
Well, sorry.
You're fine. We are live with...
Fix it in post.
I don't fix shit in post. Who do you think I am? With Falling Sky, my first coin game, Lily's first coin game. Not Drew and Mango. They know what they're doing. They're going to cream us. So...
That's why Drew's playing the strongest faction.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. So Drew, go ahead and take us away and tell us how to play the game.
Yes. Okay. So this is a coin game, also known as a counter-insurgency game. This is, in a lot of ways, the great granddaddy of Root, so I hope you posted this in the Root server.
I did.
For all of the rooters to come learn their lineage. So this is a game of asymmetric victory conditions across these four factions. I'm going to get into the victory conditions later, just because it's hard to wrap your head around them until you can see a little bit of the structure of the game. So a little backwards, but here we go. So the coin engine, I guess, or the structure that's common to all of the games is this sequence of play down here in the bottom left of the map. And then this deck of cards up here. So as we go through the game, two factions... Oh no. Hang on 1 second.
Hanging on.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Somehow my phone was patched into my computer and someone called me and it was very loud. Okay, so anyway, on each of the cards in this deck, two of the factions are going to act and take an action based on the order on top of the card. So each card has a different turn order. This first one is Rome, followed by the Belgae, followed by Arverni, and then Edui last. So the way the sequence of play works is you look at the current card that is on deck up here, and then whoever is first eligible, meaning their icon is first and they also have their eligibility cylinder in this little eligible box, they can take one of three actions. So the first one is take a command, and all four of us have a list of commands on this sheet. And I'll explain the commands a little bit later. There's four that are like roughly common to all four factions, and then there's something called special abilities, which are unique to each faction. But anyway, you're going to take a command in any number of regions. So, like, let's say I'm up first on this first card as Rome. So let's say I want to rally, which is recruiting troops on the board. I can effectively rally in as many regions as I want, as long as I have the resources to do it and it's relevant to that particular command. So I can select these three by placing pawns on them. And then I execute the action as listed on the sheet, and that's my turn. The second thing you can do is execute commands also in any number of regions, along with a special ability, a single special ability. And again, those special abilities we will go over later, and they're all on the reference sheets for each faction. When you do a special ability, thank you, Garrick, you mark where you're doing it with a black pawn.
That was Mango.
As opposed to whatever that color is. It's supposed to be white, but it's like brownish in this mod for some reason. And then finally, as a third action, you can execute the event that is on the card. So every card has some kind of event. Most cards have a double-sided event, like both of the cards that are currently on deck. The top half, so when you execute the event, you pick one of these two things. The unshaded one on the top half is usually better for Rome or Edui, but not always. and the bottom one is usually better for Arverni or Belgae. So that makes sense so far?
Yep.
Cool. So once you take an action as the first eligible, you place your eligibility cylinder on the thing that you did. So let's say I took a command and a special ability, so I move my cylinder here. Then the next faction that is eligible must, they can either pass or they're limited to whatever is next in this little box. So because I took a command and a special ability, the second faction can only take the event or what's called a limited command. And a limited command is just a command that you can only do in a single region. That's a black pawn. So if I wanted to rally and I only had a limited command, I could only do it here rather than everywhere on the board that I have units.
And you also cannot do any of the special actions with a limited command. It's just the command itself.
Correct. Yep. So you'll notice the sequence of play has kind of a little bit of strategy built into it around manipulating what other people can do on their turn. So if you do the command only with no special ability, that forces the player after you to only take a limited command. That's the only option. If you do take a special ability, that allows the next player to do a limited command or take the event. And then finally, if you take an event, then the next player can do a full command plus a special ability. So often you will be first on a card, but there will be a really nasty event on it. And in that case, you have to weigh whether you want to do a command only and block the event from ever happening, or if you really need to do a special ability, if you're willing to risk some other faction taking a really bad event for you. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so this first card is Clodius Pulcher. Let's say I did this, and then Belgae did a limited command or an event or whatever. Once two factions have acted on a card, then that is the end of that card. The other two factions listed on the eligibility order don't get to do anything. So it moves into the discard pile, and we move on to the next card. And we draw another one, so you can always see one card in advance. The two factions that acted get moved over to the ineligible box, like so. And so now we are on Catavulcus, and Belgae is first on this card, but Belgae is in the ineligible box, so they can't actually act on that card. So it would go to Arverni as they are next on the order. And then play continues like that until we hit a winter card on the current card box, and then we're going to resolve a winter, which is, as Garrick pointed out earlier, a lot like the dominance cards in Pax Pamir in certain ways. When they show up, they trigger the victory check, essentially, and also like some upkeep stuff, like status phase type things where we make money, refresh forces, things like that.
And that's also the only time this non-player faction will do its stuff outside of events.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Winter phases
and Garrick can control.
Oh right, yeah.
One of his
Okay,
special
Garrick control them a bit. Yep.
So let's see. I guess it's worth. I'm not going to explain winter totally, especially because it doesn't make. We'll explain all of it when we actually get to a winter. But what you guys should know, roughly speaking, is the first thing that you check during winter is victory. Then the Germans, the little NPC faction up here, is going to do stuff. Mostly they're going to recruit guys in Germany. They're going to raid out into regions that are adjacent, and then they're going to battle if they have a lot of units in a particular space. So mostly they're a pain in my ass, and nobody else's, which is cool, I guess. Then there's quarters. Go ahead.
Just kind of going back to cards real quick. I noticed that there are like these symbols. Do they mean anything, or is that for later?
Ignore those entirely. That is priority for the bots that we are not using because we're not playing this game solo, or because we have 4 players.
Okay, I will ignore those. Thank you.
Good question. Okay, so winter, there's a quarters phase. Mostly this is relevant to me as Rome because during winter I have to get all of my troops back to Provincia down here, and if I don't, I have to pay for them. So a big part of Arverni's strategy is like cutting Rome off from supply lines to get troops back here before winter comes. Then there's harvest, where we all regenerate our income. So everybody has resources on the top right of their sheets. That's all of the money that you're going to have for the winter, for the most part. All factions can generate money, but it's very inefficient compared to the windfall you get during harvest. Then there is the Senate phase, which basically manipulates this track over here, which determines how many legions I can have in play. And I will explain that before we actually start the game, because it's important for you guys to know how to gimp me by manipulating the Senate. And then there's the spring phase, which is like upkeep, things flip, return to normal, and then we go into the next card. So that's kind of a high-level overview. Most of that we don't really need to talk about, except for the Senate, until we actually get to our first winter. So a little bit of a rolling teach going on. Sorry.
It's okay.
The one other bit about when the winter card shows up here, it's what's called a frost, which means you can't march.
Correct.
We all have marching actions, so
Good to know.
just keep that in mind. When winter shows up, you become less mobile immediately, and then
Yep.
winter actually hits.
And that's specifically when winter is on the upcoming card slot. So like there will be one last card before winter, and on that card, no one will be able to march. That's a good clarification that belongs right now. Okay, so let's go through the actions. This always takes a long time to explain, so I think I'm probably like a rough overview of the actions and the special abilities, and then you guys probably should just read yours as we go, and then I'll try and point out when certain special abilities are useful for each faction as we play.
Okay.
Just because there's a lot of nuance, and just explaining what they do isn't really helpful because they're written so compactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like a sort of feature of coin games is that all the rules are it's like its own rules language.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to parse on your first game. So I'll let you guys fumble through that in the dark, and I'll try and be helpful when I can. Okay, so actually, it's not so bad. All four of the Gauls have an identical set of commands. In this particular game, Rome is the only one that has significantly different ones.
All right, why don't you go over the three then?
Yeah, so I'll explain your three, and I'll point out where mine are kind of analogous. So the first one that all of you have is Rally. Rally is how you get more warbands on the board, which are these little hexagonal cylinders.
This might be like this might be a good spot to point out like what the different pieces are called, because they're mentioned a lot on the actions.
Yes, that is a great point. So yeah, before we get into that, they're all labeled in the board when you hover over things, but these circle pieces are called allies. The hexagon cylinder things are called warbands. The Roman version of the hexagons are called auxilia, but they function basically exactly the same way as warbands, minus some special abilities. The cubes are the Roman legions, and those are the really powerful military force in the game. The square cube things are either forts or citadels. Roman forts, Gallic citadels. They function exactly the same, but they're defensive structures. And then finally, there's these tall cylinders. I have one representing Caesar. Garrick has one representing Ambiorix, and Mango has one representing Vercingetorix. Lily does not have one, both fortunately and unfortunately. And that's it for the pieces, I believe. Yep. Okay, so Gallic Rally is how you guys place your allies on the board, and also how you recruit warbands. So when you do a rally, you are going to select multiple regions. You're going to pay 1 resource per region, and then you can do one of 2 things. So first, you can place an ally at a subdued tribe, which are these little circle spaces that hold allies. And subdued means it does not already have an ally on it. So like if you look up here, Alurki is subdued because it has no ally, and then if you place an ally, it is loyal to you. So anyway, if you control a region, which is just defined by having the most pieces in that region, then you can place an ally.
But it's an important distinction. It's you have to have more than everyone else combined. So if there's 2 factions
Correct,
in there, you have to have more than the sum of their pieces.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah, so currently Belgae have 5 up here and Rome has 4. If even a single Germanic warband popped up in here, then it would go to no control, which is one of these buttons. There we go. 6 is no control. Good to know. Okay, so you may either place an ally if you control the region, or you can recruit warbands equal to the number of allies that are already in the region. So, for example, Garrick, you have 2 allies up here. A recruit in this region would generate 2 warbands.
Okay.
Can you show that example again?
So let's take let's take this region, and I'll remove my Roman ally. So Garrick controls Atrebates because he has, I guess, what is that? A plurality of, or a majority of pieces, total majority. Yeah. So he can choose to do one of 2 things. He can either place an ally at a subdued circle or a subdued tribe, like this one, because he controls it, or he can place warbands equal to the number of allies that he already has. So he has 2 allies here, which would enable him to place 2 warbands. You can always place warbands, even if you don't control the region. You can only place allies if you already control the region.
And of note, mostly for Lily's benefit, my rally is a bit stronger. I get the allies and leader. My leader gets added to that number. And then I get a bonus 1 on top of that if the leader is present. And my leader, if they're present in a region, when I rally, I can add allies and recruit warbands in the same rally action.
Ooh.
So my rally is a little bit stronger. That's mostly for your benefit there, since we'll be hustling in the beginnings.
Yes. Each faction, each of the 3 Gallic factions have like a little bit of a boost to one of their main actions. And I'll point those out once we get through with them. But yeah, Mango's correct. The Arverni have a much better rally than the other Gauls. They have a couple bonuses attached to theirs. Rally is super important. It is technically the way that all 3 of the Gauls win the game. All 3 of their victory conditions are partly, or in some cases, completely tied to having a lot of allies on the board. And conversely, Rome's victory condition is 100% tied to removing allies from the board. Gotcha. And I'll get to that later. But essentially, a lot of what you're trying to do is control territory so that you can rally allies into that territory. Second, in terms of commands, is March. And March is fairly self-explanatory in a lot of ways. But let's say Lily activates these 2 regions. So she's going to activate the regions, pay 1 resource per march. And then what you do is you essentially create marching groups, and then they can each move 1 space adjacent. So like Lily could send 1 warband here, and 1 warband here, and 1 over here, etc.
Gotcha.
They don't all have to go to the same place. They just all have to leave the same place.
Can you chain movement from here to here and then out?
No.
Okay.
Good question. That is March.
What does the hide mean?
Oh, yes,
Or is
that's
that
right.
just me?
Nope, that is everybody.
Okay.
So warbands with their little symbol face up are revealed, and warbands face down are hidden. That distinction is super important in the modern coin games. In the ancient coin games, it's a little bit less so, and it mostly relates to whether or not you can use your special abilities. So most of the Gauls' special abilities are tied to having a hidden warband in a region. And when you battle, they get revealed, and Rome has a way to reveal them proactively. And that turns off their ability to do certain special abilities, which I'll get to later as well. Is it worth doing exceptions as we go? I guess it might as well. So as Mango was saying, his like useful, or his boost is in rally. So when he rallies, he always gets an extra warband. So if he rallies up here, for example, he's gonna get one for the ally and then +1 just globally. So he would get 2 warbands. And then wherever Vercingetorix is, he can rally an ally and then also rally warbands on top of that. So he can do both of the 2 things at once. Only where his leader is. So he's going to build up an army really quickly, basically.
And then I also get a bonus for March. If the origin region for my March has Vercingetorix in it, then they can move 2 regions. As long as they're not moving through a devastated region, which I'm assuming you'll cover later. But
yes, I'll talk about devastation.
And I believe that's the extent of my bonuses.
Yep, gotcha. Yep. Those are the 2 Arverni bonuses. Okay. Yeah. So he's good at March and Rally. Then the next command is Raid. Oh boy, why do I have only 2 minutes of power left?
Oh, geez.
Hang on, my computer is about to explode if I don't figure out why it's not plugged. Okay, it's my mission to always ruin your streams, Garrick.
And this is why I don't invite you anymore.
Especially now that I know you never fix anything in post.
It's not actually true. I do fix some things.
I know. Okay. I'm firmly plugged into the wall now. Where was I? Raid. Okay, so when you raid, this is the only way for the Gauls to make money like mid-season, other than when the winter card hits. So in every area that you activate for a raid, you can reveal 2 warbands and take 1 resource for each warband that you reveal. I'm sorry, you can reveal up to 2, so 0, 1, or 2. If there are other factions in that region, you can steal from them. So take one of their resources and gain 1. That is blocked by forts and citadels. And I think one other thing, actually. No, just citadels and forts. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And then finally, there is battle. Let's see. I should explain battle right now. Yeah, I guess let's just break this baby out. Good old battle flow chart. This is more intimidating than it looks.
If we haven't lost you yet, here we go.
Yes, all of the 5 viewers just logged off. Okay, so I'm not actually probably going to go through this whole thing because it's basically showing you all of the little exceptions. Caesar has some bonuses on defense. Belgae have some bonuses in battle. Several bonuses in battle. So mostly this flowchart is tracking those exceptions. Essentially, what happens when there is a battle, and I will make sure to do an example battle very early as for the stream's benefit, I promise.
Is that a threat,
not just
Drew?
my own benefit?
Sure.
Yes, I guess it is.
It's 100% a threat.
So, roughly speaking, when there's a battle, let's take this as a good example because there's two factions present. The attacker is going to add up the amount of hits that they generate. All hexagons generate a half of a hit, and then cubes generate one. So, like, let's say Rome was to attack the Belgae, I would generate 2 hits there, right? One from the Legion, and then 1 from 2 Auxilia. And then that would kill 2 warbands, and then the defender would counterattack. So then Garrick would generate 1 hit with his 2 remaining warbands, and I would lose an Auxilia. Or, yeah. There are 0 circumstances where I would choose to kill a Legion before an Auxilia, for various reasons. So that is like the very simple version of battle. There's a couple of like modifiers that can happen based on the factions. If you choose to retreat, then you cut the hits in half, but they have to be taken against allies first. So let's say I had a lot more forces here, like 3 more legions or something like that, and I was generating 6 hits, for example, or 5 would be a better example. Let's say I'm attacking here and I'm generating 5 hits. That will wipe out Garrick before he even has a chance to counterattack. It will kill all 4 of his warbands, and it will kill the ally in the region. What he could do is choose to retreat to an adjacent region that he controls, or to a region that someone else agrees to let him retreat into. And that would cut the hits in half. So my 5 hits would get cut down to 2.5 hits, and then you always round fractions down. So I would only do 2 hits in that scenario. But the hits have to hit the ally first, and then any remaining warbands. So effectively, I would kill this ally still. He would lose 1 warband, but 3 would get saved, and he could move them up here or over here. Let's see, what else? If you are defending with a fort or a citadel, then the attacker's hits are automatically halved, even if you don't decide to retreat. So, like, let's say Garrick attacked me here rather than the other way around. By default, he would only be doing 1 hit because he's got 4 warbands, which do 2 hits total. And then because I have a fort, that gets cut in half down to 1. Got it. And then I lose an Auxilia, and then my Legion hits back, and he loses 1 warband. So that's it. That is battle. Basically, battle is pretty simple, other than there's a bunch of exceptions with the leaders. Well, I guess
at the end of battle too, everybody involved gets revealed. So any survivors would be flipped over to revealed.
Yep, correct.
Is that true if you retreat as well?
If you retreat, and you are a Gaul, you do not have to flip your warbands.
Got it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That's true of Rome as well. They don't. If there's a retreat, nobody flips warbands.
Okay.
Gauls can retreat. Gauls don't actually have to move to retreat, right? They can retreat into the same province.
Yes. If you're a Gaul, you can choose to retreat, stay in the province that you are in, and keep your warbands hidden.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I think probably what makes the most sense in terms of like learning this game is to just see some battles happen, and I'll kind of run through everything like on the flowchart. And that will happen early and often because Rome needs to do a lot of battling pretty early. So that's battle. And those are the 4 actions that you guys share: rally, march, raid, and battle. Rome has roughly the same actions. I have recruit, which is basically the same as rally in a lot of ways, except it is a little, well, it's the same in basically every way. I guess the main thing that's different between your guys' actions and mine are mine by default cost 2, or sometimes 0. Whereas your actions almost always cost 1.
Got it.
So everything is more expensive for me. Okay, so yeah, recruit is pretty much the same as yours. March is identical to your guys' march, with the exception that I always can move 2 spaces.
Okay.
And if Caesar is in the marching group, I can move 3 spaces just with that one group of units.
I don't like this.
And Rome can also drop off units along the way.
That is
Okay.
that is correct of anybody that can move more than 1 space. So that's true for you for King of Torix as well. But yeah, good clarification.
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah, Rome is very mobile. I mean, I have to police the
I think you
entire
mean
board,
gross.
so that too.
Well, I guess it fits with playing them.
Rome's battle is the same as yours, with the exception of legions being more powerful and Caesar beefing them up even more. I guess I should mention that if Caesar is in a combat and I'm the attacker, I double my legions hits, so legions do 2 hits by themselves rather than just 1.
They feel like showing off to their leader.
Yes, exactly. And Garrick, that is where your special ability comes in. Wherever you have Ambiorix, your leader, all of your warbands double their hits. So instead of doing half each, they do 1 each. So that's where you are like medium fighty. You can sometimes stand toe to toe with Rome.
Sometimes. Don't get used to it.
How dare you slight me like this? I will always stand toe to toe with Rome.
Okay.
If you say so.
That will go well for you. And then finally, I have a sort of unique action called Seize that is sort of vaguely analogous to your guys' rally. What that is going to do is allow me to place these dispersed markers and generate a ton of resources. But it also causes outrage and allows you guys to get free rallies, basically. Sometimes. But that's my economy. It's my way of generating resources. And it also blocks these subdued tribes from being... You can't place an ally on top of a dispersed tribe, so it sort of allows me to lock down spaces for at least 1 or 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and they only get removed during winter, right? So
yes,
they would start or through events, but they would start dispersed, and then next winter, if they're dispersed, they flip to gathering, and then if they're gathering on the next winter, they get removed.
Correct.
So if he seizes something, it's kind of long term in terms of game time.
Yeah, and this scenario only has 4 winters, so effectively, if I seize something next round, it's pretty much going to be seized until the end of the game.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, it'll be seized until the final season of the game. Okay, so those are the basic commands. I think it probably makes sense to just allow you guys to read your special abilities. But I will give them a really quick overview for everybody. So all 3 of you have Ambush. And Ambush just allows you to potentially hit me in combat and win and do well. Most of the time, the Gauls have to kind of pick their battles very sparingly, and they spend a lot of time avoiding Rome.
Unless you're me.
Sometimes under certain circumstances you can ambush Rome and actually win combats. Specifically because ambush prevents counterattacks, so you can do some damage without getting hits back. But you have to have more hidden units than the defender. Usually me. So that's common to all of you.
I think it also doesn't ambush also have to be within range of your... Oh, that's just for me.
Yeah.
I have to be within range of Ambiorix.
Okay, yeah, that just doesn't apply to Lily because she does not have a leader, so she can ambush anywhere.
Yes, that's true. That's worth noting. Garrick and Mango, both of your all of your special abilities are going to be tied to wherever your leader is, so making sure they're in a good location is pretty critical in terms of planning. All of your special abilities are only active in the region where your leader is or in a region adjacent to where your leader is. Lily does not have a leader, which means she doesn't get any cool fancy leader bonuses, but all of her special abilities are always active anywhere in the region.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with Lily's special abilities. So your first special ability is Trade. And that essentially just makes you a ton of money in the mid game. So you're pretty heavily an economic faction. Your general strategy is to kind of maintain balance in the game. You're sort of nominally allied with Rome, but if Rome gets too powerful, you can like switch sides and try and broker deals with the other two.
Okay.
It's worth noting that you can transfer resources amongst the Gauls or at any time, and you also can transfer resources with me at any time. Garrick and Mango, you can never give me resources, and I can never give you resources, but you can trade with each other and with A2E.
We don't want your crummy resources anyway.
So that's trade. It effectively makes you a bunch of money, and I'll just let you take a look at how that works. And if you have questions, you can go ahead and ask me. And if it comes up, I'll try and point out when like good times to use special abilities for all of you are. Just because it's going to be quicker that way than like explaining all 6 of them in detail. And then A2E also has Suborn, which allows you to, it allows you to place allies even when you don't control regions. It allows you to remove other people's allies without battling them. And it allows you to place or remove warbands also without battling. You're the diplomacy faction, so you basically buy people off with your infinite money. So that's Suborn. Moving on to the Arvani. So your first one is Entreat, and that is kind of similar to Suborn, except that it converts pieces rather than removing or placing. So Lily's Suborn is like more powerful. It can place multiple. It can place or remove multiple pieces, up to 3. But it has to place and then remove, and it can't do both in the same action. Arverni's Entreat is it just allows you to replace pieces, but you can only do it once per special ability. And then there's Devastate. So Devastate is the single reason why Arverni is difficult to wrap your head around. It's probably the most powerful special ability in this game, but it's also the hardest to use well.
I mean, that makes sense.
So roughly, yeah, exactly. So what you're going to be doing when you devastate is you're going to devastate a region, obviously within 1 space of Vercingetorix. You're going to remove 1 in 4 of your warbands, and then anyone else in the region is going to remove 1 in 3 of their pieces. So basically, you're burning down the countryside is effectively what you're doing there. And you're slightly advantaged when it comes to the sort of starvation losses that come out of that.
Right. Yeah. It affects everybody's movement. If you look at the march and the rally, it'll affect where you can do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And and if you march into a devastated space, well, I guess that applies to Rome more. But yeah, if Rome marches into a devastated space, they have to stop. Same with me.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So the main things that come out of devastation is no one can recruit or rally in devastated regions. Arverni has another exception there where Vercingetorix can rally in devastated regions, but for the most part, it blocks anyone from placing pieces there via rally. It does stop me from marching, so if I hit a devastated region, I have to stop. It blocks me from seizing, and it makes raid a little bit more difficult for everyone else. And finally, and probably most importantly, it doubles command costs in that region. And that's really harsh for me because, for example, I have to pay 2 resources for everything. All of my commands are 2 or 0 occasionally. So it can cost me like 4 to battle if I'm trying to do it in a devastated region. So Arverni really wants to set up scenarios where like most of Roman troops are like kind of stranded out west or potentially like way up north. And then you just like devastate the crap out of the countryside along the edges over here, which means it's difficult for me to get back to Provincia, which I have to do every winter. And it can bog me down like where I'm trying to destroy allies, but it costs me 4 every time I try to do an action. which will rapidly bleed my reserves dry.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you should explain the Roman supply line for the reason. Yeah.
Yep.
The
and
reason
now it's time to
sometimes
talk
gets a
about
new
supply
thing for
lines.
0.
Yes. Supply lines is actually super important for a lot of different special abilities. There's a lot of things that key off of in supply lines. So supply lines is being able to trace a route back to Cisalpina, this sort of like, it's not a region, it's a neutral region that no one can enter, but it's this kind of section over here. And tracing a route to it means going through regions that you either control or have no control, or going through regions where someone agrees to allow you to trace supply lines through. So like, for example, like if I had a bunch of pieces out here, I could trace supply lines back through these 2 regions because they're both no control.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Lily agreed to it, I could trace through these 2 regions down here to get supply lines back to Cisalpine. Supply lines is relevant for Lily's trade special ability. It makes her money-making ability more lucrative. It doubles the ability there if we both agree to supply lines, and she can trace back here. I can recruit for free as long as I'm in supply lines. So like if I recruit down here, it's just, I don't have to spend any money for it. And then once winter hits, I need to do my quarters phase and move. I have to move my units back to Rome in supply lines. And if I can't trace a supply line, then those units are stuck wherever they are out in the hinterlands.
Okay.
And then I have to pay to keep them out there. And if I don't pay, I have to roll dice and potentially lose them. So and they die on like a 50-50 chance. So that's another reason where Devastate comes up a lot, is like, if you can trap a bunch of legions out here and then block supply lines home right before winter, I'm statistically going to lose half of the legions out there, or I'm going to have to pay a ton of money for them to keep them entered.
Gotcha.
So that mostly applies to Averni, but also Garrick, you're going to want to like assist with blocking me, and sometimes Lily will block supply lines as well if I'm doing too well.
Mm.
And also, the Germans will never agree to give supply lines.
That makes sense.
Correct. The Germans never agree for anything. You can never retreat into German regions or trace supply lines through them.
Classic contrarian Germans.
Exactly. So speaking of the Germans, Garrick, your first and most important special ability is Enlist. When you enlist, you get to control the Germans for 1 turn. So there are 2 halves to enlist, but roughly speaking, the most common one is you just get to do a command with German pieces that's adjacent to your leader. So you could like tell these guys to march over here, and then once they're over here on a future turn, you could like tell them to battle me.
Yeah.
And just watch the fireworks from the sidelines. The other half of Enlist is you can treat German pieces as your own for the purposes of command. So if there's like a bunch of Germans sitting in this region, you could initiate a battle and also add an Enlist special ability, and then all of the German pieces and your pieces would be the attacker, and they would hit me most likely like a ton of bricks. Make sense, roughly? I'll let you read that, but that's kind of the overview of your...
And the list of German
list.
actions you can do as the other part of that are here on their sheet.
Exactly, yep.
Oh boy.
Ignore the right half, because that's the winter flowchart.
No, I gotcha.
But, yeah, these are the actions you can do with them. And broadly speaking, they're identical to your actions, with no like special perks for leaders. But
And they always ambush.
If
possible. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
If they can't ambush, then they won't battle on their own during winter. But you can have them battle even if they're not able to ambush. And then finally, you have Rampage, which is pretty straightforward. You just flip a number of pieces to revealed, and then force someone to retreat a number of pieces equal to the amount that you flipped. It's good for like forcing me to like get out of your area without having to battle me.
Mm.
And also, like up here, for example, if you rampaged, I would have nowhere to retreat, so these 2 pieces would just die. this scenario, it's pretty common. If I hadn't drawn a Rome first card, then it would have been pretty common for you to do that and kill this guy right off the bat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so then my special abilities are Build, Scout, and Besiege. They're all unique to me. Builds is effectively going to allow me to place forts and sometimes place allies without having to recruit. So I can sometimes like march somewhere and then build to place an ally or remove someone else's ally. It's expensive, but it means I can do that without having to battle. Like I don't have to stop and battle. It's a little more efficient. Scout, if you thought Rome was mobile before, they're about to get real crazy.
Uh-oh.
So I'm actually going to fully explain Scout because it's relevant to all of you guys just to know what I'm capable of. So Scout allows me to move any auxilia in a region to an adjacent region, and then I can flip them. So let's say I scouted over here. Then I can flip a single auxilia to reveal 2 other pieces and also place scouted markers on them. Where are the scouted markers anyway? They're in a bag somewhere.
They're by your player board.
Yeah, there they are.
That makes sense. Okay, so these 2 guys are scouted now. What that means is Lily has to march effectively twice to get them back to hidden. So when you march, your revealed pieces go to hidden in that region. If they're scouted, though, they just remove the scouted marker.
That makes
they
sense.
can march somewhere, but they're still revealed. So then you'd have to march again to hide them.
Okay.
The only exception to that is in spring, the part of the winter phase. Mm-hmm. They get hidden regardless of scouted markers. All scouted markers get removed, and then everybody goes to hidden. So
yep.
Okay,
everything fully resets every spring. Yeah. The revealing part can only be done within one region of Caesar. So that like revealing and scouting people is tied to where Caesar is.
Yeah.
But I can do scout to move auxilia around anywhere. It's not tied to Caesar at all.
Okay.
A pretty common Roman thing to do is scout a bunch of auxilia to move them, and then march those auxilia from the region that I scouted into.
Yeah, should be the special actions can happen at any point during a regular action. So you can even interrupt another regular action to do your special action, then continue with your regular action.
That's weird.
Yep. Yeah, that's super helpful. I should have explained that immediately. Thank you. So yes, any special ability can be done before a command. It can interrupt the middle of a command, or it can be done after a command. So you will often see Rome like scout some auxilia over here and then march them up here. And then, that allows me to like move a lot further. Or sometimes you'll see a march and then scout. That gives me a lot of options for mobility on top of the reveal thing. Oh no, that's not good. I just deleted a bunch of auxilia. If I can copy 6.
That seems fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then finally, I have Besiege. When I'm doing battles, I can automatically remove a citadel with Besiege. You still half the losses, but the citadel gets removed before the battle begins.
Okay.
Okay, so that's kind of like a rough overview of all of your special abilities. I suggest you just kind of read through the special abilities, and if you have any questions about the wording, feel free to ask me at any point. Okay, so
does that just leave the Senate?
30
thing?
Minutes in, we're almost done. Yeah. So this is the Senate. Actually, I need to talk about victory conditions before I talk about Senate.
Okay.
So, one second.
No worries.
I ate it.
Yeah, so if you thought root was opaque, oh boy. Like I've played a couple of these and I'm still looking at it like, oh gosh, I'm not even really sure what to do.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some opacity in coin games for sure. Strategically speaking. So I'll try and point stuff out as we go as well. But victory conditions. So Rome's victory condition is tied to the number of subdued allies on the board. and also dispersed allies, but basically ally spots that don't have an ally on them.
That makes sense.
I need to be at 16 or higher to win the game. I start at 14, and that will rapidly decrease as you guys place allies, and I desperately try to kill them all.
And victory is only checked
like playing whack-a-mole
with the winter card, right?
Correct. Yeah, victory is checked at the beginning of every winter phase. So you don't have to worry about that until you see a winter card come up.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, I think before the stream, there is a winter card. There's 4 winter cards in this deck, and there's one roughly every 15 cards. At minimum, it's every. The first winter cannot happen before card 11, and it will not happen after card 15. It's somewhere, or 16, somewhere in 11 through 16.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the Roman victory condition. Belgae have a sort of opposite victory condition. They just want to have a bunch of allies down and control of a bunch of regions. So your score is calculated by the number of allies that you have, and then this number for every region that you control. So, like, for example, you control Atrebates right now, which means you get 3 points off of it. And then 2 more for the allies, so that's 5. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Got it.
That's why you're up there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So effectively, all you need to do as the Belgae is control all of Belgium, which are these little yellow colored regions, these 3 up here, and have them filled out with allies. And then control a single one region with 1 ally. So, like, you notice if you replaced this Roman ally with an ally, you would be at victory. So you just need to carve out like a kind of little kingdom on the board. The most common way to do that is all of Belgium and Treveri, or all of Belgium and Britannia.
Did you just call my kingdom little? Yeah, Trigoulet. Drew's played this before, so he's playing Caesar and the Roman Republic.
Yes, I play this game way too much. Actually, there's no such thing, but I played this game a lot. It's a good game.
So Mango with Averni.
Yes. So Mango has 2 victory conditions that he needs to fulfill both of in order to win. So the first one is just have 9 or more allies down on the board. So currently he's got 3. And then separately, he also needs to make sure that at least 7 legions have been killed and are off the board.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily killed, because the 4 that are in waiting here also count. They're just
yeah, that's true. That's true. They need to be off the map.
Yeah, off map legions.
Got it.
So currently there are 4 sitting here off map, which is why his score marker is at 4. There's a couple of events that just flat out remove legions from the game, but for the most part, killing legions and then sending them back to this Senate track and making sure they stay on the Senate track is how Arverni wins. And that's why Arverni is probably the most difficult faction to play, because it's really hard to kill legion.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But I fortunately have you helping me kill legions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I want to kill legions, so I see the issue here.
Yeah. Generally speaking, Arverni is kind of playing the long game. Most often, I see Arverni win on the final winter with not actually completing their victory conditions, but getting the closest.
Got it.
So if we get to the final winter and no one has like flat out won, then we see who has the closest victory margin, which is to say, like, who's the closest to their victory. So like if Mango can kill 6 legions and also get 9 pieces on the board, which is like, sort of a reasonable ask on the final winter, then he's only 1 away from victory effectively. And as long as everyone else is 2 away from victory, then that's a pretty common victory scenario for. Actually, it's probably the most common. It's a lot harder to win with Arverni mid game.
So how does Eidui win?
Eidui wins. by having more allies than anyone else. So you'll notice on her little board over here, she's got her little ally row, and then her victory marker is other most allies. So currently, Belgae has 7 allies out, which is why that marker is there. And you can also see how many allies you have out by the numbers on your sheet. So she would need to have all 8 of her allies out on the map, or she would need to put like 3 more allies on the map and ensure that a couple Belgae allies are killed somewhere along the way.
Got it. So
if you set your rotation to 15 or 15 or 45, you can do those there.
Yeah, I got it.
So these are 2 competing tracks, basically.
Yeah.
She needs to get this one past this one.
Her top track needs to be higher than the bottom track on her board.
Oh, okay.
So that's a little bit what I meant earlier by saying that Edui is kind of like in the middle of everything and trying to balance stuff. Like you're kind of nominally allied with Rome, but if Rome does too well, then obviously Rome can just win outright. But also there's a risk that they can like spank the Belgae and the Arverni too hard and then like have resources to come after you. So you don't want Rome doing too well, but also you can't have either of the other Gauls doing too well because then just like by definition you can't win. If anyone has 8 allies on the board, then it's impossible for you to win because you can't put out more than 8. And you'll notice that Arverni has 15 and Belgae has 13, so it's very possible for them to have a lot of stuff on the board. So you're kind of the middleman. Yes, exactly. Okay, so that's the victory conditions, and then that allows us to come over to the Senate. So every winter there's a Senate phase. And what happens during the Senate phase is I check how well I am doing, and if I'm doing well, the Senate likes me and gives me more troops. And if I'm not doing well, the Senate thinks I'm lame and tends to give me less troops. So when the Senate check happens, you look, there's this little track up here at the top of the board. If my score is 10, 11, or 12, then the little marker moves to intrigue, which is the center row. So it would just stay there if it's there already, move inward if it's at the top or bottom. If I'm doing really well, 13, 14, or 15, then it moves down towards adulation. And then if I'm doing badly, like 9 or below, then it moves up towards uproar.
There are also some events that can affect it as well in both directions.
Like the one that is starting with our first event. So that's going to be tempting for me to take right after that potentially, but we'll get into that later. So the ramifications of where this marker is determines how many units I get during the winter. So if I get Caesar back to Provincia and I'm at Uproar, then I'm going to get 3 Auxilia for free as reinforcements during the winter. If I'm at Intrigue, I'm going to get 4 Auxilia, and if I'm at Adulation, I'm going to get 5 Auxilia. More importantly, wherever this marker is determines if I can get the legions that are adjacent to it. So in order for me to unlock these legions at the bottom, I need to get down to adulation, and then these legions will be sent into the board as reinforcements.
Gotcha.
And that only happens during the winter, the Senate phase during the winter stuff.
Yep. So if I can do really well this first season and get down to adulation in the first winter, then I probably will like auto win the game on the second winter. So it's in all of your best interest to make sure I never get to adulation. If Rome gets to adulation, it's usually guaranteed that they will win the game. Not always, but it becomes significantly more likely.
Yeah.
If you can get me up to Uproar somehow, then I'm pretty dead. And then you kind of have an interesting problem of who steps into the power vacuum, and it's usually Arverni or Belgae. So Edui wants to like help me not get into Uproar, but they don't want to help me too much because if I get to adulation, it's also bad for them. Cool. I think that is everything. That is pretty much the whole game. Am I missing anything?
I'm not entirely certain with the overflow. box is. I don't know if it's important to go over right now.
It's just if there's like a million pieces in like a fairly small region like this one, you can take
Got
the
it.
overflow marker, put it there, and then put all the pieces in the box.
Got it.
One little bit of terminology. If some of the events will refer to mobile forces, that's just auxilia and warbands and legions. Anything that's not a fort or citadel or ally.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And the citadels can only be placed in cities, which are the areas with the diamond shapes on them.
Yeah, that
so there
makes
can't
sense.
be any,
Yeah. Yep.
there can't be any citadels out here in the western reaches.
The
there.
boonies.
Yeah.
That is a part of your guys' rally action. You can only place a citadel at a city, like you said, and also an ally has to be there already. So you have to put an ally down, and then you have to later upgrade it to a citadel. So like you can't just drop a citadel straight onto a subdued tribe.
Okay.
Okay, so that is it. There's a couple like little minor things that will come out as the events require them to, so we can, I think, get started now. Unless anyone has any questions before we get going.
I believe I'm good.
Going twice. Okay. Cool. So I am up first. I got to look at this event. I can shift the Senate box one down towards adulation. However, that also sort of requires me to keep the adulation lead, because if I end up down here and winter comes, then it's going to move back up to intrigue before I get my legions, so it's not that effective. This event is much more powerful if I was already at adulation, because it flips to firm, which means it stays there. It kind of is sticky on the edges.
Yeah, it gives him like a buffer on either end.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so if I'm ever at adulation or at uproar and the token moves up off the track or down off the track, it flips to firm, which just means that it's like kind of locked there, and if it ever moves in the opposite direction, it doesn't actually move, it just flips back to regular.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, as much as it would be fun to gamble on that event, the Belgae are up next, and if I don't get this legion safely, it is going to instantly get killed. So I am going to take a march and probably a special ability. What could Belgae do to me? Roman leader goes to Provincia. He's already there. I'm ineligible for this card. Executing faction stays eligible. Yeah, that's not going to hurt me that much. So I can take a special ability.
It's good to know the cards basically can break most of the rules.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. If I have explained any rule, it can be broken by an event. Okay, so I'm going to march out of here. I wonder if... Well, whatever. It's probably worth the risk. I'll march out of there, and I will march out here. Do I want to scout? We should scout. So it's worth noting, if I ever move through a region and the Gauls have at least 3 hidden warbands, then they can do what's called harassment, and they just kill one of my pieces.
Ooh,
So like if I march straight up here, then Garrick, you can choose to harass me and kill off a piece. Lily could as well if she wanted. Same problem if I march up through this way, like these 4 would harass. So I am contemplating a scout to prevent that. I don't know if I need it though, realistically.
And that's also per 3. So if you happen to have 6 there, you can do it twice.
Twice. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ooh, stacking martial law.
I don't think I need a scout, so I'm going to take a command only, which prevents the upcoming event, just because I don't want Caesar kicked off to Provincia in an annoying way. Okay, So I have 3 marches, so I'm going to pay 6 resources. Because my marches cost 2 each. These guys are moving down here. All of these are moving down here as well. And we'll send 2 auxilia up here. We'll send 2 legions over here, along with 2 auxilia. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Nick. We're accepting all heckling,
I have no idea what I'm doing.
especially heckling directed at Rome.
Yes, that's always acceptable.
I think that will be my final landing spot. Okay, there.
So you have control here now.
I do have control there. I also have control here.
And here.
1, 2, 5, and also here. And just give me another 2 seconds to figure this out.
So
Yeah,
generally
that's fine.
we update the score markers as it goes. So because this passed out of your control,
Yep.
Garrick, you lose 3 points of
Yep.
victory.
4 actually, because
4, because that one too.
Yep. Nothing was removed in oh man, do I want to? This event is so annoying. I don't know if it's worth it to Garrick to spend a whole event just punting Caesar back to Provincia. Well, but he stays eligible.
He can't take the event anyway because you did a.
Yeah.
I know. I'm contemplating a build
Oh,
special
gotcha.
ability. I don't think it's worth it because it makes sense for Garrick to annoy me by sending Caesar somewhere alone, and then he stays eligible, so he would still be able to act on this card. So it's only upside for him. So yeah, I'm sort of locked out of taking a good special ability. So that is me. And then next up is Garrick. So
Okay.
you can either take a limited command,
Or I can pass.
or you can pass. You can get 1 resource for it, and then you're first up on the next card, which is almost certainly the right thing to do.
Passing, you mean?
Yeah, there's nothing pressing. Like you could march these guys away to protect those 3 warbands. You could try and march in to contest me, but realistically, it's probably better to just go down here and do this.
Yeah, I was thinking that, particularly because I probably want to try and prevent that event from going off. I don't fully
Exactly,
comprehend it, but
that
it seems
too.
terrible for me. So,
No, that would be really bad. You would lose an ally here and all 4 of your warbands.
yeah.
Now, I don't know who would take it. Like, Arverni's certainly not going to take it. I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't do you like that.
Maybe Adui would, but I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think in this situation it makes sense to pass.
I'll go ahead and pass, and I gain 1 resource.
Correct. And I didn't explain this earlier, but if it's not obvious, that means you stay eligible onto the next card. So next up is Arverni.
Yes.
So you're stuck with a limited command, or you could also pass and just gamble on Garrick letting you do something, but either way, you're probably getting a limited command.
Yeah, I'm getting a limited command probably either way.
Like best case scenario,
I'm not going to take that event because
you don't care about the event.
I don't care. Even if I wanted to help him out to fight you, it's already full up there, so no point.
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and take the lim op. Or a command, I guess, in this game.
Yeah, they're normally ops, aren't they?
Normally it's operations and special abilities.
I'm going to march out of Arverni. And I don't know if we mentioned this, but just to reiterate, when you march from a region, you can march, any number of forces from that region to adjacent regions.
Yep.
So I'm going to. I'm going to take Vercingetorix. Let's see, we're going to leave 2 guys in there, which puts it under my control. And with Vercingetorix, we're going to march up to here with 2 others. And yeah, I think we're going to leave it at that there. So I pay 1 resource for that. Just operate for these your resource trackers. If you right click, they de-increment. If you left click, they increment. Yep, and that's me.
All right, that's our 2 actions, right? So we move this, right? I'm guessing Drew died.
No, I'm here.
Likely story.
You asked me something about 2 actions? What?
Well, I was just saying
The 2 actions happened. So
yeah, we took our 2 actions and then like nobody was saying
yes.
anything or doing anything.
Sorry.
So I was just like, all right, I'll move the cards and
Nope,
pretend
you're
I know what's
correct.
happening.
I was doing something else. You did it exactly right. Oh shit. This is by far Adewey's best card in the game. I'll explain why when we get to it, but Lily, just pass on your turn so that you can take that. But anyway, Belgay is up first. Yes.
Oh, you might want to explain the whole capability thing.
Yeah, I'll explain it when we get there.
Now.
It's okay. I'll explain it. Actually, I can explain it right now. It's not that hard. It's probably the simplest part of the events. Some events have this big purple thing called capability on it. And that basically just means that the event is a permanent passive ability modifier that you take for the rest of the game. So, like, for example, the shaded version is resource costs of Adewey commands are doubled for the rest of the game permanently. So it's a really bad negative event. But more importantly, being able to suborn in 2 regions instead of 1 is crazy good for the Adewey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just for my understanding, to see if my brain is working right, Garrick's going to go.
Yep.
And then if I pass, I can't really pass because I'm the only one with eligible actions. So I have to do another action to push this, and then I can. But then I start with this one.
No, so you can always pass. And in this case, you will pass, and then only 1 player will act on Catavulcus, and that's totally fine.
So did we do this wrong then? Because you were here, and then Garrick passed.
And then Mango was eligible.
Mango was the second actor on the card.
Right, but
so passing isn't an action. Think of passing as not an action.
But then why did this one move and this one? Why did this one not move and then this one will?
Okay, let me. I think I understand what you're asking. So let's roll it back real quick. So Rome was first, and Rome acted on the card, right?
Yeah.
Then Belgay is up, and Belgay chose not to act on the card, so they passed. So it kind of skips the Belgay, right? And then the next eligible is Arverni. And Arverni acts on the card. So as soon as 2 people act on a given card, then it gets discarded.
Oh, so if everybody passes on the card, then it just doesn't happen.
Exactly. So
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So in this case, up to 2 people. Yeah, exactly. So like Garrick will go first. Both of the middle 2 are ineligible, and then it'll come to you. And you can either act on the card or you can pass. But if you pass, then there's nobody else who is eligible to act on the card. So even though only 1 person did anything, it still just gets discarded because no one else is eligible.
Okay. So why, for the situation we're in, why wouldn't I act on this card and then we all go to ineligible, which means we go back to eligible, and then do this?
No, so
my brain's not working.
No, it's okay. It's totally a legitimate question, and the sequence of play is like a little bit to wrap your brain around at first. So it's not you.
Okay.
So effectively, if you acted on this card, then you're going to go into the ineligible box, and you would stay in there until after this card goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Rome and myself are going to go back to eligible after this card has its 2 things played on it.
Yep.
I
So
understand.
we acted on this card, which means we're ineligible during this card, and then we'll be eligible again once this thing pops up. Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
So you want to make sure that you pass so that you remain eligible, so that you can take the event first, effectively.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
But before all that,
understand.
yeah, it takes a few cards to kind of get the flow, but once you get there, it's pretty instinctive or intuitive, I should say.
Okay.
Anyway, you're up, Garrick.
According to Nick, it's his turn. I think I will take a. I don't know if I'm supposed to call him Nick or Sanchez. I always call him Nick. First command plus special ability. Because I think I can afford to do that since Lily's probably going to pass, and neither of you are up to take the event.
Yep.
So what do I want to actually do? It's a great question. I feel overwhelmed.
But you're halfway there. You've made a decision.
I feel overwhelmed by this Roman invasion, but I also don't think I can take them head on in battle.
Yeah. So okay. So a pretty like normal flow of the game, just so everyone is sort of knows what to expect, is Rome like kind of picks an area to just stomp on, because it's much more efficient for me to like have everyone around Caesar, both so I can protect him, because if he dies, he's gone forever.
Okay.
Well, he'll come back, but he's much weaker. My successor is much weaker than Caesar.
Caesar Jr.
I guess I should explain that.
Caesar.
Yeah. So if any of the 3 leaders ever are killed in battle, they leave the game, and then the next spring they come back, but they're flipped upside down, and all of the special abilities that they used to be able to do can only be done in their region. So they can no longer do it adjacent to where they are. So it really, 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 really sucks to lose your leader.
There is one event that can allow Ambiorix to come back after he's been killed.
Yep, that's true.
But,
one event brings Ambiorix back if he's dead.
I wouldn't
same
count on
thing
that.
for Kingatorix. There's an event that brings Green back. I don't think there's an event that brings Caesar back. So if you kill Caesar, I'm screwed. So anyway, it's kind of Rome's incentive is to kind of keep everyone near Caesar to protect him, and also because all the special abilities are there. So it's pretty common for Caesar to like pick either Arverni or Belgae and just like go on a rampage in that corner of the map, but not too much damage. And then they want to like leave and go to some other corner of the map and pick on the other faction, and they kind of like have to bounce back and forth. So like, you can do what you want to try and slow me down, but probably like I'm gonna blow up this ally. I'm gonna kill these 2. I'm gonna kill Germans, and then I'm probably gonna have to like go leave and try and take care of our. Or maybe I'll try and like do these Germans too, or something like that. But like for the most part, I'm not gonna board wipe you, even though it looks like I could. Because that almost always is a recipe for the other faction to do way too well, and it's not good for me. So given that sort of like standard flow of things, it's usually how things go with Rome. It's often a good idea to just like rally a bunch in the regions that I'm not really currently contesting, and just hope that I don't like continue to come up there, which I almost certainly won't, at least at this stage of the game. So like a rally is never going to be a bad idea, just to get more of your stuff on the board.
Right, that's sort of what I was figuring. Rally seemed like the best option, so I definitely don't want to fight you. And I guess like maybe I could march to retreat from those areas, but
yeah, you could do that.
There's probably value in forcing you to fight through it a bit or something.
Yeah, if you retreat, then it's really easy for me to just use builds to remove your allies and then leave. Whereas if you leave some warbands there, I have to actually waste time battling you, which is,
Yeah.
not great for me. So yeah, like Rally is probably your best bet. As far as special abilities go, Rampage could be cute here because you could reveal all 3 of these and force 3 of my guys to leave and retreat over here, which then only leaves me with 3 hits, which means I have to battle in here twice or like do a scout to move them back and then battle. It's kind of like it's a pain in my butt basically.
Yeah.
Because I can't actually kill the allies. Whereas right now with this set, I have just enough to like fully wipe you out over here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one option. The other option is you could get cute with the Germans. So you could enlist and have this pile of Germans march down here, which means I can't easily kill everything here. Or I can't at all, actually. It would require a lot of investment. Or you could... actually, you can't do that because Ambiorix is not adjacent. But you could like retreat these guys up there in order to like create a big German army that you can then play around with. But that's actually not eligible because Ambiorix is way over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are pretty much your 2 choices right now. Is Rampage is only relevant, and Enlist is only relevant here. So you can either enlist to move these warbands down and annoy this little army, or you could just rally 2 more Germans up here as well.
No, you could, moving Germans down here, you could potentially remove Roman control there.
It would definitely remove control because the Germans would have 9 and I only have 7. So
right. So if you moved, what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you moved 2 down there, it would go to no control. If you move 3 down there, at least it would go to German control.
Yep.
Okay.
And you wouldn't want to move more than 2 down, probably, because if you so like one thing that Rome can do pretty effectively is like I could battle, and then I could scout and send Auxilia up here and then battle again. Because remember that you can interrupt a command set with your 1 special ability.
Right.
So like I could in theory get 6 Auxilia up here by just scouting there and then scouting there, and then that means I could do 3 hits. So you probably want to leave like at least a couple Germans there if you decide to march down, because if you march down to protect this ally, then it just opens up these 2 allies to get killed off.
Mm.
And you generally want to keep the German allies alive if you can.
Let's all right, let me read through Rally. All right, so I think I'm rallying let's see, in each region. So I guess I'll spend 2 resources to do it in 2 regions, the 2 northernmost ones there. Oop. And do that. Place a Belgic ally or add a subdued tribe, or place warbands equaling up to their number. So I get 2 in each of those? Is that how I'm reading this?
Yep, you would get 2 warbands in both of those northern regions.
Okay. Cool. Where are my warbands? Oh, there they are. And then my special action, I'm just raising the dramatic tension by taking forever. I will.
That's broadcasting.
I think I like the sound of the rampage more than moving the German troops around. That
Cool.
sounded like a more fun way.
Rampage is a Rampage is a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I must either retreat these, or if I don't have anywhere to retreat, I lose them, but I
Just move them over there.
thankfully can retreat over there. So that's what we do.
Okay.
And then this actually goes back to Belgic control, which is 3. So you gain 3 points again.
Okay. That's my action.
Cool. All right,
Lily?
Lily.
I pass.
Yep.
All right, and then that's the card done?
So would passing get me a resource?
Yes.
Okay. So, yep. Now we reset eligibility. Belgay is the only one who acted, so they move into ineligible. 3 of us are back into eligible.
Sorry, you should still be at intrigue, right? You just moved that down as an example.
Oh, yep. I should be at intrigue.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay. So, yeah, Lily, your first step.
I want to take this one.
Yeah. The next card might have changed your mind, but you don't really care about this card.
Okay. Cool.
You're last on it, and it's like not really one of your cards.
Nope.
So yeah, you definitely want to take this baby. Suborn. So normally Suborn is your most powerful ability. It's how you can sneak. Well, okay. So Eidui is not about building armies. For the most part, you want one single warband in like every single region on the map, if you can.
Okay. Yes, I am the otters. Continue.
Yes, exactly. And you want them to be hidden because you can't suborn without hidden warbands.
Okay.
But as long as you have a hidden warband in a region, you can. As long as you have a full command and special ability set, then you can do suborn. And what suborn allows you to do is place and or remove 3 pieces in that region. So you can place your pieces, remove enemy pieces in any order. And then one of those pieces can be an allied tribe. So you can, like, let's say you're over here. You can use Suborn to either remove this Arverni ally, or you can place an Eidui ally, and without having control. You can just do it for free.
Do it.
You got to pay for it, but yeah. So one can be an ally, and then the other 2 are auxilia or warbands. So you can place your own warbands that way. You can remove other people's warbands. Yeah. So anyway, Suborn is very strong.
She can remove mine and add her own, right? In the same.
No. Only one of the 3 pieces can be an ally. So you can only remove one or place one.
Maybe.
So allied refers to everybody. I thought that referred to just her allies. Got it.
Yes, correct. Yep.
So, and just so I understand the cost, right? It's 2 resources per ally I interact with, and then 1 per other piece.
Correct. So most often you're going to suborn and spend 4 resources. 2 on either placing or removing an ally, and then 1 for 2 warbands from somebody or you, or some combo of that.
Yeah.
That was too much for Lily. She just quit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Lily rage quits.
Why did I just get kicked out?
I don't know.
It looks like it looks like everywhere went down. Looks like I'm seeing global.
Oh.
I'm still in.
So just
For
save
now.
it. I'm definitely taking that card. So you can just play for me. I'm not exactly doing anything totally exciting.
Yep. So we'll stick that next to you. We will get a capability marker, and we will put it on the shaded side. Or I'm sorry,
unshaded. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, Vercingetorix is a little misplaced for me to actually use my special abilities.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that being said, I am going to take a rally, and we'll be doing it in many places.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You could rally in Mandubi, but you'd only get a warband out of it. 2 warbands, actually, since you always get +1 everywhere.
Yes, I could, but lost
There you
Lily
go.
again.
Oh, again.
Oh, you lost me again?
Oh, it said it's. Oh no,
Yeah.
I guess I
I think you
lost.
lost.
Yeah,
you.
I was gonna say
You
you just
lost
dropped
you.
out.
If for some reason it failed with Lily first, and then it failed.
Yep.
Yep.
My turn is next, right when I'm up eligible to take a turn.
Should I have rallied in that one region where you are, Drew, over here?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that is a good idea. Since you were rampaging, it makes a lot of sense to rally there because it slows me down even further.
Yeah, I just was realizing, like, wait, I could have done another one.
Yep. Yeah. No. Go ahead and add. If you want to pay 1 and add 2 more guys, that would have been smart. I should have suggested that. So.
And then can I flip them as part of the rampage to increase how much is rampaged?
Yes, you can. You can remove all of my auxilia.
In which case, I actually only need to flip one of the extra 2, right?
Correct. Oh no, actually, you can force legions to rampage too.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So if you want to flip all of them, then
Yeah.
I kick a legion out. That's really annoying.
I like being annoying.
Potentially.
Lily can tell you.
If I don't get to act before you, then I might lose 2 legions, which would suck.
You're gonna get to though. Oh, maybe
I don't
not.
think I
No,
will,
maybe not.
actually.
No, yeah, I forgot I was yellow for a second.
Yep. Actually, definitely not.
Sorry, still misbehaving. Let me try relaunching TTS here.
No worries. The TTS servers did this to us 2 days ago. They just started randomly kicking like one person at a time. Thank you, Arcanum. It was all skill and not at all random bluster.
I feel like I've had some meaningful decisions this game already, so.
So you're saying that you're done for the night. That you're just going to pack it up.
Pack it up, go home.
I made decisions, I'm done.
I did my job.
Also, if you guys are ever waiting around for one of us to take our turns, you can hover over the cards. And this mod has the every coin game has like a short like background behind the card and why the event like could have made sense historically or did. So those are fun to read if you care about that kind of stuff.
Okay, I am back.
Woo!
All right. Yeah. So those are my 4. My 4 regions for rallying. So in the homeland, I'm going to upgrade to a citadel.
Nice.
In Pictones, I'm sure I'm butchering these pronunciations.
That was on point, actually.
Okay, Pictones, I will rally. We put an ally there.
It's obviously pike tones. I don't know what you're talking about.
The mighty pike tones. I'm going to add an ally. Oh, calm down, little buddy. It's all right. It's all right. He disagrees with that move.
I was about to say that.
He wanted me to upgrade to a citadel there. Okay, and then we will be adding an ally here, and because Vercingetorix is here, I also get to add warbands, so I get 1, 2, 3. One for the ally, 1 for the leader, and 1 bonus.
You are butchering your leader's name if it matters to you.
Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix, yeah. The main thing is that the C is always hard for Celtic languages. So there's no
Vercingetorix.
Yep.
I'll probably mispronounce it a couple more times.
That's okay. You can call him Fred if you'd like.
Okay, so Fred up here is doing good. Now I don't, because I upgraded to a citadel in my homeland, I do not get the normal 1 bonus there, correct?
Yeah, the extra warband only happens when you're recruiting.
Got it. Okay, so I pay 4 resources for that.
Yep.
Whoops. There we go, and clear my pawns. And that's me.
Wow, I just noticed the clear pawns button. Look, there is some scripting after all. Okay, so that is this card. So these two factions go into ineligible. Garrick goes back to eligible, and we this card over. Draw a new one. Okay, so on Lost Eagle, Garrick is first up, or first eligible. So go ahead and do your worst, you jerk.
I mean, the sad part is that seems like a cool event, but maybe. Do you not? No, you don't have any fun yet. So
yeah, so that is a really awesome event because it's one of the permanent removal events, but there needs to be already a region.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case,
it's worth noting a lot of this game is about managing the risk of not being able to take two actions for a while, and also setting yourself up to take advantage of opportunities where you can act twice in a row. So like if you notice, just because of the way the cards came out and because Lily passed once, which denied me an action effectively because of the turn order, it meant that Garrick got to act twice before I could respond, which is why he's going to get to potentially kill these two legions. So that was a risk that I took because that always is a thing that can happen, and Garrick is getting to take advantage of that. So like a lot of the strategy on a deeper level of coin games in general is setting yourself up to take advantage of that when it falls in your lap.
So
anyway, carry on. I'm just rambling because you're about to murder some legions on the second action of the game, and I'm sad about it.
Yep, it's great. It is great. I think I'm safe to take this one because I don't think the event helps you right now, if I'm reading it correctly. No, it's about to be helpful.
It actually
kill some, right?
I was gonna say, so you could take a special ability if you want to, if it's like worth it to you, and it might be, but it will give me the opportunity to put one of the fallen legions that you kill back.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of being able to like tell the Germans to do something or something like that, but no, I don't want to give you a legion I killed right back.
And you wouldn't be able to ambush if, assuming you're attacking in there anyway, because all the bands are revealed.
Yeah, but he could do a battle and then like enlist, for example.
Right, that's what I was going to do exactly. Is tell
and
the
then
Germans
like recruit some more Germans up here or something like that. I agree that you probably should do a command only at this point in the game. But if, for example, Arverni had 5 off-map legions, you would definitely want to give me the opportunity to put one back because you don't want it to be higher than 6 ever.
Gotcha.
Like ideally, for the Belgae, like ideal situation is this exact situation where you can remove 2 legions from the board, because that means the Arverni aren't quite at their victory thresholds, and it makes me as weak as possible without basically letting them win easily.
So I'm obviously going to battle here.
Yep. You also can battle here.
I was going to ask that. Yeah,
it's worth doing because you got to weigh the one resource, but like blowing up a fort is usually worth doing.
No, that seems good to me, and so I'll do it. I'll battle in those 2 regions.
Okay, so now it's time for the flowchart. We're having a real battle.
Oh God.
Okay, so step 1, you select a faction to defend. So I'm the only one here, so you're obviously picking me, but you technically can pick whoever you want to fight. Step 2 is I have to declare a retreat now, and I probably will, just because you have. Let's see, you're doing 2 hits. So if I retreat, I can cut those hits in half, which means I can save a legion potentially, or it makes it much more likely that I'm going to save a legion. Legions are really hard to kill because they get to roll a die and they might not actually die. But reducing hits is always smart. So yeah, I'm going to retreat and not worry about fighting back. It will kill this ally though, which is unfortunate. Oh, actually, wonder if you actually do want to battle. This is not a great setup for a battle for you. So, okay, so I'm going to be able to retreat. which cuts your 2 hits down to 1.
Yeah.
And the hits have to go on allies first when you retreat. So I'm guaranteed to save both legions.
I see what you're saying.
Now, if you ambush,
I can't ambush.
Then I cannot retreat. Oh yeah, you're right. You can't ambush because you don't have more hidden warbands than me. Interesting. Well, anyway, let's walk through the battle as if you had done it, so that we can see the flowchart a little bit. Unless you want to just do something else.
I
won't lose any legions if I don't want to.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. It's really quite unfortunate. Maybe... Yeah, maybe I just march instead. Let's see, how many are in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3,
Yeah,
5,
so the
6.
advantage now is you can also take a special ability if you aren't planning on killing any legions, because then this event is totally irrelevant.
That is true. You make a good point.
And there's still like a huge risk of, like, especially if you rallied here, for example, put more guys down, or even marched Ambiorix in, like you could set up a threat that I would have to do something about.
Yeah, I'm weighing.
I'll get to do something about it immediately, but
I'm weighing the value of marching versus rallying, and it's.
I see. Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain which one to go with.
Well, if you...
And also, march would let you hide those warbands.
Exactly why I wanted to march.
Yeah. I mean, if you rally, you're going to place 2 hidden warbands, which would turn on the ability to ambush if it comes back around to you, and I still only have 2 guys there, which isn't going to happen. But
right,
in theory, you only need 1 more hidden than I do. Roman legions are always revealed by default; they don't have a hidden status. So, like, even if you have 1 single hidden warband, then you have more than me and can ambush.
Those legions are so flashy; they're showing off.
Yep.
Well, gorsh. See, I'm just terrified you're gonna like stomp in again. I only have 4 more warbands to even place. Gosh, why don't I have a giant army? This is terrible.
Well, you want to build an army, then rally would be the thing to do.
Right, but I want to build more.
Might as well put. You could get 6 down, and that makes my life significantly more difficult than I want it to be right now.
I think what I'll do is I'll stick with the march. No, maybe not. I liked the sound of marching and sending some people to Britannia just to send them there, but that shuts down my special ability, doesn't it?
What do you mean by that? Oh, I see. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So because marching across the ocean cancels special abilities, and also because I cannot scout across the ocean, I have to actually march there. It's really, really difficult to unseat people in Britannia. So usually whoever gets there first hangs on to it for the rest of the game, unless basically there's like kind of a little bit of a race between Arverni and Belgae to get there first. And then eventually Aedui will like worm their way over and start suborning there, and that's, annoying. But it's really good to get there first. That's a good option for you if that's something you want to pursue. It does leave you a little bit weaker over here with me kind of on your doorstep, but you've also sort of neutralized the threat here. Like in theory, I could scout all 6 of these Auxilia over and then battle, but that's still only 5 hits between the 2 legions and the 6 Auxilia, which doesn't even touch your allies. So you're doing pretty good here. You can kind of afford to bleed off a couple warbands across the ocean if you want.
That was sort of my thought. Bleed a couple over here and then flip these guys and maybe send one more down. Or maybe send the leader and 1 or 2 down. I wasn't entirely certain.
Yeah. And if you're marching anyway, then that kind of gives you the option to retreat these warbands out.
I was also debating that.
Now that you've kind of forced me to consolidate here, like they're definitely all gonna die. Like even if I battle, even if you retreat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, because Caesar doubles the legion's attacks. So they're each doing 2. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks. So even if you retreat and have it, you're still losing everything.
I think what I'm going to do...
So you might as well save them.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to also activate that one. I'll march these ones over here. Flip these ones.
Yeah, that feels like a good move to me.
And then let's send 2 over here. Sure.
Now, if you move to Britannia, that blocks a special action for everybody? Like
just during his command set.
But that's what I mean. Like for he can't
do a special ability anywhere because
anywhere. Got it.
Yep. His resources were fully occupied getting across the channel.
So in that case, he would take the command only option, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I guess you wouldn't take the event anyway. So it's
the event is not relevant. But
right.
Yeah, it is a really good time to deny events is when you're planning on marching into Britannia.
All right. We'll which state is me? Nope.
You're number 2, I think.
3.
Yeah. 3. Okay.
I think that's a good move. Maybe I'm wrong, and we'll find out.
No, I that's a solid move. That wasn't my first thought, but I think that was actually probably the best thing you could have done right now.
Okay, so Drew, you're up.
Yes, I am. You have now 1, 2, 10, 11 units in Attribute. I love Nick just spouting off gladiator quotes in the chat.
It's pretty great.
This is like the 8th one.
I think it's more.
So 11 units, which means I need to do. Oh gosh, yeah, that's like way more Auxilia than I can even muster. I could drop Caesar and the legions. Still gonna. I guess if I brought everything, then 5 legions would do 10 hits by themselves. So 4 legions and some Auxilia would do the trick. Man, limited commands. as Rome, like I have to be as efficient as possible removing these allies because all three of you are placing allies as a part of your victory condition, and I alone am removing them for the most part. Sometimes ADOE removes them, but not. But then they pretty quickly place them again. So, so I hate to battle with the limited commands. So it might make sense for me to try and set up multiple battles if I can. There's little risk of getting cut off at this point. So yeah, I'm going to march out of Treveri. So that's two resources.
Do we clear pawns between like individual people? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a little button over here that automatically does it. We should just get in the habit of doing that.
Yeah, I'd done it last round. I just wasn't sure if we leave them through a round or if we do it after turns.
Yep. No, it's each. They're meant. You don't even need to use them, but they are very helpful to. Like,
it's more important for when you're doing like a full command that spans multiple regions, so you can track, where you chose and like how much it's costing you and all that. For limited operations, it's not as important.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing a march out of here. We're gonna bring 2 legions and Caesar. So that's 9 hits, 10, and 11. Which is just enough for now. You'll probably march in, but I need to protect this region. You know what? This is not great either, but I'm just gonna do it. We'll bring all 5 legions.
Oh boy.
Better protect them. And yep, that's good. So that is my limited command. You and I are ineligible. Arverni and ADOE are eligible. And so we advance the 8. So like, yeah, notice I set that up specifically because if I acted before you on the card after, then I would be able to actually like efficiently remove 4 allies across these 3 regions.
Yeah, I was really hoping for that not to happen.
And now if I didn't and you acted first, then there was like some serious risk of you
ambushing and messing with you.
Ambushing me, yeah, or potentially just like rampaging with half of your stuff and then attacking to kill off legions. Like I could have been really hurt there. So it was a calculated risk, but that is kind of the heart of coin, is like taking those risks and hoping they pay off over time. Lily is up for her first big action since she took this crazy good capability last time.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, so ADOE, especially now that you have the double suborn, so you can suborn twice in 2 different regions, which is really, really good. You probably just want to start spreading out like as soon as possible. So it almost might make sense for you to just do 3 marches and like spread out everywhere. Like put a single warband in literally every around this little core area of yours. And then immediately suborn in 2 regions. So like you can march one guy over here and suborn an ally down. You can march a guy over here and suborn an ally down. You could suborn here first and then march. There's like lots of different options, but march and suborn is very, very, very powerful for ADOE.
But then for this, the capability here, if I'm marching, I'd be paying double what I normally would have paid written down, right?
No, well, if we had gone with the shaded capability, if someone else had taken it, that's negative for you.
Got it. Okay, so okay.
Yeah, you took the event. You pick which side, and you obviously pick the side on top that's good for you.
Me.
So
yes. Okay.
you can just ignore the bottom half of that card.
Sounds good. Okay, so that would leave it.
Oh, and actually, I guess you should look at this event too, potentially.
Yeah, because if I do the command and special action, then this would be what you would do or pass.
Yeah, I don't think you really mind giving that to Garrick. I mean, to Mango. It's like, it's not going to hurt you. Like, it'd be good for, that's a decent event for Mango. I mean, he might want to do something anyway, but it's
If
not
I
going to hurt
take
you,
that
so you're
event,
safe.
she still gets to look at the cards. She doesn't get the free limb up and become eligible again, but she's still, because the only place I could do it is in Mandubai.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mandubai.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so I think this does make the most sense. And since it's the plus, is it in any particular order? Do I have to do the abilities at once?
So you can interrupt. You have to do all of your special ability at once, but you can interrupt or do before or after your commands. You
Okay,
can put
so
it
I
wherever
want
you
to at least move once before I do the double suborn.
Yes, exactly. So
I
you
can't
can
really
march
do it right
first.
now.
Yep. You can march first, then you can interrupt to do your suborns, and then you can finish up your marches with like other regions, basically.
Okay. How do I make this go negative?
Right click it.
Right click it.
Aha! You. Okay. Let's see. I do think I'm gonna do a move or a march there for this. It's one for origin region. Okay, so I don't have to pay 1 to do this whole march.
Yeah, so like from that origin region, you could move to there or to there as well, or to any of these others over here.
Okay.
They can scatter, disperse.
Go here. That's all I want to do for the command action. So for then the Suborn in 2 regions.
You don't want to activate multiple regions?
Oh, I can.
Because you're doing a full command, not a limited command. You can activate multiple regions to move from.
Oh. Yeah, I want to do that. Good at this. I'm also going to activate this region for another one. And we're going to move out. Okay. I can suborn in 2 regions, but that's still only the 3 pieces, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
you can do it twice. So like
Twice,
6
yeah.
pieces total.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
split
So
across
that's
2
6
regions.
pieces. Oh, okay. So that
You're-
and I could do 2 allied pieces.
Yep, you're effectively taking the suborn action
suborn
twice.
action
It just
twice.
has to
Okay.
be 2 different regions.
It's
So
really
I'm gonna
6
go
pieces?
here.
Yeah, suborn is maximum 2 regions. So I guess if you come over here and look at her board, and this is true of everybody's thing, they have a number of regions where you can do it in the top right corner. So like ambush is max 1 region for everyone. You can't ambush. You can do like 3 battles, but only one of them can have an ambush. And similarly for her, suborn is normally max 1 region, and Convicta Latavis upgrades that to 2.
I actually don't have those on mine, and neither does Garrick, actually.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot. You guys are not restricted. You can do everything everywhere.
Yeah, I'm really the only one with those restrictions.
Adui is the only one that gets restricted.
Okay. So then I'm going to. So I spent the 4. So I'm just gonna because I figured I'd do that.
Are you doing 2?
Oh wait, sorry. Where? Oh yeah. Okay. So you're suborning here. So you placed an ally and spent 2. You also can do 2 more pieces. So you could put 2 more of your own warbands, or you can remove some of Mango.
I think I'm gonna just put 2 more down, and I already paid for it.
Yep.
I paid the 4 to start. So.
Okay. Cool. Normally, placing warbands is more advantageous for you because it's hard for you to get warbands out because you very rarely have more than 1 ally in one spot. So
Makes sense.
rallying is kind of hard for you sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's a total of 4 for that one. Are you doing a second region?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah. I was hoping you wouldn't do that, but that
Cut
is
him
definitely
off.
probably the
Cut
best
him
place
off.
for a suborn for a Dewey. Specifically in that city. Yep.
So that cuts off his supply line now, unless you agree to give him supply.
Well, technically not, because I control
you
this
control
German
that one,
region,
right. Yep,
which I can draw supply lines through.
Barely touches right over here.
Yeah.
So I gotta get a shovel and expand that river is what I'm hearing.
I mean, Lily, you don't necessarily want to cut off my supply lines as much as the other two do, because we're like kind of friends, sorta.
Yeah, no, I'm not necessarily. I don't necessarily want to cut it off. I just want to control
Gary.
it.
What connection? What are you talking about?
There's no connection here. There was an earthquake. That lake got a lot bigger. Make that text blue, and I'll accept it.
I wanted to, but my HUD's completely off, so I can only draw.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
All right.
I actually need somebody else to delete that for me.
My HUD's off too.
Thank you.
Got it. I think that's everything for me.
Yep. And you paid for your 2 marches, right?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that is an excellent move for you. And it's worth noting, you've now set up an incredibly good trade special action. So if you notice, trade is for every ADUE ally inside supply lines, you get a resource.
Okay.
Every subdued tribe under ADUE control, which you now have an extra one, gives you a resource. And if you got control here, you would get another one.
Okay.
And then also, if I agree to granting you supply lines, then all of those double. And normally Rome will agree to grant ADUE supply lines for trade as long as you pay them a little bit. If you grease their palms, as it were. So anyway, you now have a lot of money like across this little corridor that can be generated with trade. So that's probably a good next action for you, assuming someone doesn't come in and kill your stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, I might need you to explain that again, like when did we do the thing? But
yeah, when it comes up, I'll remind you that you have a good trade setup at this
how
point.
to do the thing.
For a little context, Mango, Drew is master of the greasy palms in every game.
Very much so.
I gathered that from the little bit of the Joko stream I caught the other night.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am up to choose now. If I'm reading this event correctly, it can only be done in Mandubi. But then Lily can also choose to become eligible or do a free limited op. It doesn't seem to be limited to the executor.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. It's not just Mandubi now, because Lily has moved into another couple regions.
Well, it's still me and Lily, no matter what.
Yes, that is true.
And the lim op doesn't have to be in that region, so.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's interesting. It doesn't say May, so yeah, she would get a free. She'd look at the next 2 cards and would get a free lim op, and so would you.
Or she could become eligible again. Not that she would necessarily want
that doesn't
the next card.
Yeah, because if you take that event, you're going to become eligible, and then after me, but before Lily, so that wouldn't be super relevant for her.
Well, see, not taking it to get the free lim op and the foreknowledge, because I don't necessarily want to block Garrick from responding to you.
Yeah,
next turn.
That's true.
But I don't necessarily want to give Lily another lim op.
Just from my understanding, you're saying that's only possible in Mandubi, and can you just explain for me why that is? Because I'm not understanding that.
It's also possible here. He was thinking of that before Lily moved. But yeah, now it's also possible in these two. So it's any region.
With me.
Yeah, any region that has at least 2 non-German factions in it.
Well, wouldn't that also include like here? Because
I guess they don't have to be. They don't have to be Gallic.
Yeah, but that's true. That is technically allowed.
Like, not that he should. I just
would
wanted
be
to make
silly
sure
for him to do. But you're right. Yep.
Yeah. In theory, I would want to do it where I am.
Yeah.
At least.
While you're thinking about that, so for chat's sake, Pendragon is way more complicated than this.
That's what I tried telling them. Apparently, they've also played Pendragon and then like gone back to other.
I know. Well, and playing Pendragon first is amazing. I'm really proud of you, William, for doing that. Yeah, okay. So the big thing with Pendragon is that the battle procedure has like 7 steps. And this one technically only has 2. Like there's the decision about whether to retreat, and then there's like some dice rolls afterwards, but it's just attack and then counterattack. Whereas the battle step in Pendragon has like 4 different phases when the different unit types attack each other. And then there's the whole Escalade thing when there's strongholds. And then after that, there's the storm. And then after that, there's the siege steps. There's like all sorts of stuff going on. People get really, really overwhelmed by that battle system. It's a really cool system. And once you wrap your head around it after, half of a game, it is really cool. But it is way more complicated than this. That's true. I guess they are. I think you might be getting overwhelmed by how goofy the flowchart looks in Falling Sky.
It is very goofy.
Because it does have branching paths, and Pendragon doesn't. But there's like more little things to remember in Pendragon, and there's more fractions, by a lot more fractions.
Cursed fraction.
But I will say, I don't know if I said this on stream earlier, but Pendragon, at least in my opinion, is the best coin game in the series. It's certainly my favorite. I've played almost all of them a few times, and I've played both this and Pendragon.
Yeah, but you have a thing for the setting, don't you?
I do like the setting, but also the mechanics are just really, really fascinating. Specifically because
of the setting.
Sorry, Mango. I hope if you're ready, you can cut me off. But
I'm still kind of thinking.
Okay. Well, then I will continue to wax poetic about Pendragon. The amazing thing about Pendragon that no other coin game does, or one of the many interesting things, is there's like a little Imperium chart over on the side that tracks the degradation of the Roman infrastructure on the islands. And so over the course of the game, as that infrastructure degrades from Roman control to fragmentation, the character of the game completely changes because the victory conditions change across 3 different phases. So at the beginning of the game, there's like a Roman military player and then a Briton noble player, and they're fully allied. They're like tied together at the hip.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you now.
Okay, go ahead.
Lily,
Yes.
if I give you, would you be willing to give me some resources next time you trade in exchange for me giving you a limited operation for free now with this event?
Ooh, palm grease. I love it.
Sure.
Okay.
Totally down for that.
I would say, let's see, your next trade's going to be pretty lucrative, so I'd want 3 resources out of it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I just need to understand how many resources I would be getting out of the action,
so
because I don't know.
So let's say you did a trade right now. So you have, so first you get to trace a supply line, and you can easily trace a supply line to all of it because you either control them or they're no control. So everything is in supply line. So you just count the allies and subdued under controlled. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 allies plus 1 tribe that you control that's subdued. So 6. So that's 6 resources during trade. Then, if I grant you supply lines, like if I just say, like, sure, you can trace it through here too, if you want, then that number doubles. So you would get 12 resources.
Real quick, so I understand, is the supply line being traced like to, Cisalpina?
Anything through, yep.
And can it like branch or be circuitous, or does it just need to be like a straight line?
It's any region that's adjacent. So like this region is adjacent to this region, to this region, to this region, to Cisalpina.
Yeah. For example, if she didn't have this one, she could still trace it through that way.
Through up here.
My question was more like, can she go here, 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 something like that? Like, when it starts getting weird.
Yeah, technically every region traces its supply line individually.
Got it.
So like that is a supply line, right? That is also a supply line. That is a supply line. So as long as each region individually can trace a route back, then it is inside the supply lines.
I understand it now.
Cool. So anyway, Lily, you would get 6 resources or 12 if I agreed. Normally, the like kind of standard is that Rome will agree if you give them half of the bounty. So like I would ask for 3 out of the extra 6 that you would get for me agreeing. So on your next trade, you're probably gonna get 9 resources.
Okay.
Give or take like 1 if you like
And,
haggle with me.
keeping in mind that this is not a binding agreement, but the
That's true.
And also
the
that you could-
Arverni memory is long and unforgiving.
and also keeping in mind that the game state could change and you could generate fewer than 9 resources.
Yes, also true.
Mm-hmm. I think
I wouldn't agree to any money until later. You could say, sure, I will give you some resources when I trade. Maybe.
I'm just trying to think of what limited action I'd want to do.
Oh, that's a good point. You, of all factions, don't really have a great use for limited commands. You basically rally somewhere, which is spend 1 to place 1 warband wherever you have an ally, which is basically what your suborn does.
It's a free limited action, though, so she doesn't actually have to pay for it.
No?
Yes, that's true. You do save 1. I guess you could use it to place another ally here, which would be very annoying for me.
That's actually really
but you
good.
do control this region, so you could place an ally for free.
Could she alternatively change this to a what are they called?
Yeah, you
Citadel?
could. This could be upgraded to a citadel, and that would probably be even better of an option for you.
Sorry, I have a lot of questions all of a sudden.
No, it's okay.
I noticed in my board it has the plus trade or suborn question mark. Why?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I should have explained that earlier. Certain special abilities can only be paired with certain commands. So, like for example, ambush can only be paired with battle, and that's what that thing up there says. So basically, for Adui's purposes, all 3 of your top actions can use trade or suborn, as a special ability.
And that's when I do like the command action plus special ability thing.
Correct. Yep.
Or the may add special ability. Okay. Understood.
Keeping in mind that in this exchange, you also get to preview the next 2 face down cards.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. I will agree with this.
Then I will take the event.
All right, Lily goes first because she's technically first in order.
So there's the top. There's the second to top.
Yep.
Okay. Slowly tilts up.
Okay, so while she's looking, Pendragon is awesome. Oh God, where was I? Oh yeah, so there's the 2 British factions are like allied from the beginning, and as the Imperium degrades, they slowly kind of pull apart, and eventually at the end of the game, instead of a like 2v1v1 type of game, it becomes a full free-for-all where everyone is like fully out to kill each other, and like the rules of the game change and the victory conditions change as the Imperium degrades. And the Imperium degrades as like pick off settlements and reduce control on the islands. And so essentially you have like 2.5 different game frameworks packed into a single session of Pendragon, like every time. It is amazing. I'm very excited that we're finally playing this so that maybe I can shoehorn all of you into playing Pendragon sometime in the future.
Oh no, I would very much like to work my way through all of the coin games and Pendragon last.
No, so everyone is correct that it is the most complicated game, other than it might be like tied with Fire in the Lake. But that said, once you've played a single one of them, it's not that much of a leap to Pendragon. Like, I mean, you just learned this game. Like, this is kind of a pretty crazily complex game just based on how much different actions there are to process and all the different command and special abilities. And it's like pretty strategically deep, and there's a lot of opacity in it. So if you can wrap your head around the entry-level coin games, then you can jump to Pendragon pretty easily.
Yeah, and learning the system is helpful. Like learning Red Dust before this made it very easy for me to pick this up, more so than the first time I tried to pick it up.
Yep.
Okay, so
Arcanum, I have played Gandhi, like two or three times at the most. Not a lot, but Gandhi is really interesting. I love what they did with the non-violent factions.
I am so looking forward to that one.
It's
Anyway,
one of the 4.
I'll
I
play that
own.
one anytime.
There it is, right there.
Pendragon Saturday. Now we're speaking my language.
All right, so I want to do for the limited in this area. I'm assuming I'm supposed to just fulfill the event, and then I pay 1 resource to.
You don't have to pay because the event says it is a free limited command, and what that means is it does not cost you resources.
Ooh, okay. So I think I want to trade this ally for a citadel.
Yep. And put it.
Okay,
Yep.
and that goes
Yep.
there. Okay, I wasn't sure how that worked. Okay.
Yeah, you always fill the row all the way to the right so that the number
sense.
shows how many you have on the, because it makes it easier to calculate on the fly without having to
Makes
count,
sense.
because counting is hard.
I can't count for my life. All right, Mango.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I guess I could have been looking at these while you were doing that. My bad.
No,
That's
worries.
why I shoehorned in my Pendragon talk, because I was like, oh, they have a long time to look at those 2 cards and figure out what they want to do. So I guess now I'll talk about Gandhi.
Go on.
What are the game? Which versions? What games do we own? We own.
We
Cuba
own,
Libre,
yeah,
this
I'm
one.
pointing on the camera. Cuba Libre, Falling Sky, Fire in the Lake, and Gandhi.
Okay.
Nice. That's a good set of the coin game. Gandhi has the Raj, which is a traditional government faction in the sort of modern coin game mold. Both of the ancient coin games are like really weird in terms of their kind of faction relationships. They're like very unique. All of the modern games have a government faction that kind of functions basically the same and often has the exact same commands, or ops, I guess is what they're called, as all the other games. So like if you've played, the Afghani government.
I'm restacking here.
Okay, cool.
And I'm going to take my limited up here to March. Is it March?
Is he going to do it?
Don't do it, Mango. Don't do it.
Is he going to do it?
Am I going to do what?
March.
I'm apparently not. Apparently, I'm not going to do whatever you think I'm going to do.
Or you are.
Or I am, and I just have no idea. Yeah, so now I'm going to march Vercingetorix over to Mandubi with everybody taking control of that region.
I support this.
Garrick and I were thinking you were going to cross into Britannia. Which you could have done. Now would have been a good time to do it because it's a limited command anyway, and so you're not doing any special abilities. But this is also a good move. You do want to lock this region down.
Yeah, and I need to get Vercingetorix in a useful spot.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that first move might have been a misstep, but yeah, I'm back on track. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
all right, now the rest of us get to see what you two looked at. So anyway, Garrick, and Lily, since I guess you would be playing it together potentially. So Gandhi has like a very traditional coin government role.
Oh, thank you, Justin.
So like the government in Cuba Libre, for example, since I think you've at least done the playbook for that, right, Garrick?
Yes. 3 years ago.
Yeah, the Raj is okay. You might not remember, but the Raj is very much similar to like all of the other government factions. And then there's a pretty standard insurgent faction in the revolutionaries.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Indian Congress and the Muslim League are like wildly out of the mold for standard coin games. They have like some really interesting mechanics that model nonviolent resistance versus like the traditional insurgent violence.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really fun factions to play. I'm continuing to talk because this is a really shitty draw, and I don't like that. God damn it. Okay, so I guess the main thing is I would like to act on this card, Garrick, because I want to be able to like follow up on what I set up before.
Yeah.
But if I do, then you're probably just going to pass and take the shaded event on Renus Bridge.
You know it.
Which I might not care about too much, depending on what the next card is. I guess I could ask Lily. Maybe she'd tell me.
You're funny.
Lily, we're friends.
Are we?
So then I guess anyway, that's what I want to do. But then to prevent that, I can pass and then I'll go first on this card. But then that gives you the opportunity to go first on Cicero, which means you can foil my best laid plans. So now I'm very sad. Don't know what to do. Hey, Lily.
Yes.
You looked at 2 cards ahead, so you know what the next card is. Are you early in the order and going to be able to do a trade?
Don't answer that unless he greases your palm.
Here's the thing: is I forgot to look at the player order. Completely didn't.
She did the opposite of me because I kind of forgot to look at the event.
You should look. It's not been that long.
My memory does not last me a very long time. What was the second?
If you're early enough in the order to be able to trade, are you first or second? I guess is the real question. Because if I
That's a great question.
do this now and then he goes.
All right, Lily. So you want the one that's the color blue. Now let me define what blue is.
Yeah, I don't know this color. I don't know what's going on. I will not be able to provide any useful information.
The only reason I'm asking is if you are first or second in eligibility order, and you'll be able to trade, and then I have an offer for you.
Cool. Sounds
involving
great.
lots of money.
I do like money.
I know you do. And also, we're friends right now. You're doing really good.
Yeah,
And
I like
you
friendship. Friendship
you-
is great.
She's doing good by being mean to you.
Well,
I'm doing good by being oblivious. Come on.
So, like, Adui's
I'll hurt my
incentive,
reputation.
Belgay almost never hurt the Adui because, like, all of Blue's tribes end up, like, floating around over here unless you make your way up to Britannia. But, like, very rarely do you get Blue tribes in the Belgica region. So what that means is Arverni is, like, your biggest enemy, and he is going to be spending most of his time entreating your allies and replacing them with his. So you want me to get out of my little northern expedition as soon as possible and come down here and help you with Arverni.
Okay.
So you should also want to help me at least a little bit.
I do. I definitely do. I also really do not know what I'm doing. Not gonna lie. I don't think I will be trading is effectively what I want to say.
I see. So I guess the other question is, am I first on this card or second?
Don't tell him that.
Look, it's a great question.
She understands why you would want to know that.
Fine, Lily. I'm just going to stay in the north the whole game, and I'm going to let her eat your lunch.
Well, I mean, that sounds like you're gonna lose yourself the game too, so that's an interesting choice.
Oh, are we doing this again, Drew? After John Company, now you're doing it again.
Hey, that was perfectly rational on my part. Just because you didn't know what I was doing doesn't mean it was crazy.
He's not crazy, he's just misunderstood.
Exactly. All right, so you're not going to sell me any info, Lily.
Not right now. I don't think
Okay.
I will be able to get anything good out of it. So.
I mean, I could pay you money right now.
I do like money.
Well, you can only do that if you actually start taking an action, right?
Yeah, that's true. You can technically only do it on my turn, but
So if you were going to pass, you couldn't trade her money.
No, passes counts as your action. Even. If it's
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, never mind.
You can do a trade and then pass, specifically so that people can, like, bribe you to pass.
Gotcha.
At least in this game, I always forget the little nuanced rules around trading money in all the other coin games. But anyway.
So it's right now.
Well, I'm trying to decide if I want to pass or if I want to take action. Because if I take an action now, then Garrick is going to hurt me. He's going to steal 6 resources effectively and make me ineligible to the next card. But I think that's probably a risk.
I mean, I'm down for, if you give me a resource, I'm down for telling you the information you wanted.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. I was going to say, I'll pay you for the information.
Yeah,
you just sounded so... You sounded so reluctant.
No,
Okay, well, no, I will pay you.
No, you are not in the first 2.
Okay, are you in the first 2?
Yes.
What's the name of the card?
I don't remember.
Okay, fine.
I'm sorry. My memory is a limited.
Wait, so you're
Well,
first?
I remember what it's called, but you can't pay me.
I can't pay you. That's true. Wait, so you're in the first 2, but you don't think you're going to be able to trade? Are you second?
Oh, I am second. Yeah.
Okay. Who's first?
Mango.
Interesting. Well, okay. Here's your resource, obviously, because.
Thank you. I did my best.
No, that is helpful.
More stuff next time.
I'm happy to bite the 6 resources bullet. I was just mostly like, how much do I care about being ineligible on the next card? So I think I don't care. So I am going to take a command plus special ability on this action, and I'm going to build, battle, and there's no besieging worth doing. So I will scout. So we're gonna do a battle here. We're gonna do a battle here. We're gonna do a battle here. And Caesar is over here. Do I want to scout anywhere, actually? I can't reveal those guys. I don't want to leave the legions unprotected. I guess this is worth doing. Okay. So that's 3 battles, which is 6 resources. I'm going to lose all my resources, so I might as well battle more if I can. I can't. Ooh, I can. Ooh, I could do that. Sorry, Lily.
Oh, I thought we were friends.
We are friends.
It's alright, it won't hurt too bad.
It won't hurt too bad. It'll only be a
This
little
does
bit.
not sound like friendship.
Well, actually, he's doing just as much damage to himself there as he is to you. Or are you doing the...
I'm going to price scout some guys over here.
Yeah.
Mostly so that I can reestablish control of this region. But that's 2 more resources. Okay. So now we get to go through the battle flow chart.
Friendship is
Yay!
Fragile friendship.
So we'll go here first. So the Germans never retreat, so we can go straight over to this part of the flowchart. The defender does not have a citadel or a fort, so the defender takes normal losses with allies, citadels, and forts last. There is no ambush or no Germanic attack, so once I'm done, we're going to go straight to counterattack. The flowchart is really pretty simple once you get over how many stupid branching options there are. So anyway, I do 3 hits with the legions and an additional 2 with the 4 auxilia, which is 5. And Germans never retreat, so that 5 just wipes them out.
Poor Germans.
Here. And then my victory chit goes up by 1. Next, we will hit here. So same deal. I do 1 hit. There's no one to retreat with, so Treveri just gets destroyed or subdued. So that's another victory point. And then here is where you have some decisions to make. So I have 5 legions, which is normally 5 hits. They're doubled because of Caesar, so that's 10 hits from the legions plus 11 for Caesar plus another 2 for the auxilia. So I'm doing 13 hits there total. Which is going to wipe you out. So you probably want to retreat. So, given that, well, I mean, do you want to retreat or do you want to?
I want to play my ambush card. Yeah, I want to retreat.
You want to play your ambush card? Okay, so then we go down this way on the little flowchart. Step 3, attack. So you're taking half losses.
Yep.
Which means my 13 gets cut down to 6.5, which then gets rounded down to 6.
Yep.
When that happens, the sort of normal order is reversed.
And I lose
allies
first.
Forts, and citadels first. Yep. So you lose 2 allies and then 4 of your warbands. And then the remainder can retreat anywhere where you have control or anywhere where the controller agrees. So I guess if you want to go down here, Pango could theoretically agree to let you do that. But you probably don't want to go that way, but it is a possibility for the future that you should be aware of.
Yeah, no, I think
you have my permission though, if you want to.
Well, thank you. I think I'd probably rather shore up here. Can I split them or do they have to go to the same location?
You can split them, I'm pretty sure. That is something no one has ever asked me.
It's region singular.
That's true. Let's just go grab the...
I stumped Drew. My work here is done today. I will see you all next
I know. Yep.
One adjacent region. Yep.
Okay, great.
But it may be Britannia.
Yeah, I believe, unless there's something specifically called out in the book, that you can retreat across the water.
Yeah, it says I can.
It seems kind of silly, but
yeah, I won't do it, but I could. Yeah, I think I moved them up here. Part of me is wondering if I should throw them with my leader so I have like a strong force for counterattacking, which as I say it, sounds like maybe a good idea.
Yeah, so there's kind of like 2 different ways that I see people play the Belgae, and one is the Ambiorix Death Ball, where you just park everything on Ambiorix, and then that territory is like, I can't visit that territory with my stuff ever.
Yeah.
The other thing I see people do is sort of hedge their bets, because like Ambiorix needs half the number of warbands to do the same amount of damage because he doubles all of his units.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of like make both of these slightly unappealing, or you can make this one like basically a no-go zone for me, but leave this one open.
I think I'll stick with hedging my bets, yeah.
That's usually what I do for what it's worth, but there are definitely...
Oh, I'll definitely do the other one then.
You want to do the Death Ball. Okay, so that is the first of my 3 battles. Then I'm going to trigger my scouts. So I'm going to send 2 Auxilia over here. Which is going to do 2 hits, halved, so you're actually going to hit me back on the counterattack. But I don't really want to send all of my Auxilia and leave 3 naked legions. Well, but you can't even get there. You could send Germans, but they're at best going to do 1 damage if I retreat. Actually, this doesn't make any difference, because 3 hits halved is the same as 2 hits halved, so yeah, I'll leave them there. And then we're going to battle here. So I will be removing 1 warband, because the 2 hits are halved due to the Citadel. And then you are counterattacking and removing 1 warband, or 1 Auxilia. But the upshot of me doing that is that this is now no control. And then I'm done. So Garrick is up for this event or a limited command.
You can also pass if you want to.
Right, that's what I'm probably going to do. I'm just
what's it? Remove all. Oh no, you don't actually remove legions.
But he would lose 6 resources and be ineligible.
Yeah, so I think probably if you don't want to take the Cicero event, then probably the smart thing to do is pass. And then once you see what the next card is, you might decide to just take a full commands plus special ability. Because if I'm already not going to be eligible on the next card, which sounds like I'm not based on what Lily said, all you're doing is reducing 6 resources, which normally is very juicy, but I kind of like made it not as useful by spending most of them.
Yeah.
So in the interest of Gallic solidarity, I will tell you he's probably not going to get to act on that card anyway.
Okay. So
it's probably in your best bet to pass either way and then see the card, because this is a good event. If I'm eligible on the next card, this is a good event. If I'm not eligible, then it's better for you to have a full command plus a special ability. Even if you didn't know, like even if nobody knew what that next card is, then I think in this situation it might make sense just to pass. And but
I'm gonna go ahead.
But it depends on if you want to do Cicero, because Cicero's kind of an interesting event. Like you could shove me up to uproar, which is very annoying.
It is, and it's a little tempting.
It doesn't really advance your position.
Right.
And it only hurts me if I lose legions.
Right.
Because like the difference is 1 auxilia only. But if I have some dead legions that end up in this middle track and I'm all the way up here, then that's really bad for me. But that relies on dead legions this round.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pass, get the resource, and that will be this card done.
Yep. All right. Oh, geez, Opida. Oh, Lily, you're totally gonna get a trade.
Oh, I am.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Arverni is 100% gonna take that event, and you're gonna get a special ability, a full command and a special ability.
Gotcha.
So there will be money for you.
And I wanted to make sure you get your trade so I can get my extra resource from you.
That's true. This makes sense.
All right. Well, anyway, Garrick is up.
But I didn't want to tell him that.
Fair. I'm in gremlin mode. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, Grumpkin mode, you mean?
Yeah, Grumpkin mode. That's fine.
Oh, what? I thought gremlins, you weren't. Are you eating past midnight? It's past midnight.
It's past midnight, so I therefore just like half work.
My joke was that after midnight she turns into a Grumpkin. But yeah.
So, it's fine. This is my normal state of playing board games.
That's what happens when we're East Coast and we play, past midnight every time.
Hey, as a mountain timer, I appreciate it. So normally everyone's like, I want to start playing at 5 Eastern. I'm like, I can't play at 3. I have a job.
Yeah. I'm on Pacific, so I'm like the one person that they graciously play late for, I think. I feel like everybody else I think John's Central, but still.
When we do play tests with Ryan Spangler, the time match can be weird. Because he's over.
Is he in Pacific too?
He's in Seattle.
Yeah, he's also in Pacific.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd
love to be able to game at 4:00, but.
All right, so I don't think I want the event because you did a good job of counteracting its effectiveness, and it doesn't matter for this card. So I want a command. I probably may as well take the special ability because I can, and I don't think I need to deny it from Lily or Mango right now.
Well, neither of them are really incentivized to let me take the Unshaded event. Like, that's a great event for me. I could just completely wipe out this region up here, which is awesome. But I don't see why either of them would waste their turn doing it.
Right.
So you're definitely safe.
Right. So that's why I feel like
maybe Lily goes full Chaos Agent, but She's got a juicy trade coming up, so it's unlikely, I think.
I don't think so. So I think I'm safe to do this.
I think I'm at 18 too.
I don't know if I adjusted myself down. How much do I have right now? 2, 4.
Oh no, I'm
6,
at
7,
oh
8.
geez. Where? Oh, that's right. We didn't move me down when y'all did your rallies and support. So I'm at 12. I count on the map.
Am I reading it
I'll keep
correctly
counting.
that
You
I'm
do your
only at
turn.
9? 2, 4, 8.
2 allies plus 2 control. Same here. So that's 8. 9. Yep, you're at 9.
Okay. I could gamble. I like gambling. I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah, what are you thinking? Like, what options are you weighing?
I'd like to basically gamble and attempt to swing in and route your back line. Basically
nice.
gambling
Okay.
on when this next card comes up that we're both gonna be active for, that I get to act before you.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming that you wouldn't act here.
Yeah, I'm not going to act there because Mango will take the event and Lily almost certainly will pass to get a full command because she's only going to be limited over here. So yeah, I think it's you and I are going to be the only ones eligible on whatever this next card is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a good move. Or that's a potentially good move. It depends on what the card is.
Right.
But if you're going to do that, then probably the thing to do would be just to march this and also bring the Germans from up here.
Right. My thought was I would do it by marching here and here. So I take my leader and, a good contingent of these guys, probably that much, and then do that.
Yeah, really at all times you need to make sure I can't scout and battle and remove allies.
Yeah.
So I have 4 auxilia here and 2 here. So basically I can scout 6 in here, which means you need to have at least 3 warbands of buffer there so that I can't just snipe 2 allies for free.
Yeah.
And beyond that, that's enough in terms of defense. Because if I want to, I can pretty much march anywhere and wipe it out. As you saw with this.
Yeah.
My forces are powerful enough militarily that I can do that. The problem for me is it's super inefficient to march one place and then battle.
Yeah.
That's a losing game for me because you guys place allies way faster than I can remove them. But yeah, so based on that dynamic, generally having 3 in both of these regions is probably enough. So yeah, that's fine.
What you're saying is I should actually maybe even move more, come in here more
you could potentially move more is what I'm saying. Yeah. I can only get these 4 auxilia over here, which is 2 hits. So really all you need are 2 warbands over here. You could move even more over this way if you wanted. So yeah. Or I mean, if you're doing a special ability because you want to march the Germans down. But I was gonna say you could also send some more over there potentially. Or you can leave them there. There's no harm in spreading out a little bit, but you can kind of if you leave this region with only 2 guys in it, then you kind of have more warbands to muster over this way, which is helpful.
Yeah, I do think I like the idea of doing it like this.
Yeah, that feels like a better move. Especially because now it's a lot harder for me to march a bunch of stuff over here and easily contest it because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits plus whatever Germans you bring. So it's scary for me to march in there without knowing that I'm going to be able to march in and then attack before you can attack me.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it like that. And excuse me, our special action will be enlist, obviously. And oh, interesting. They have restrictions on how they march. No, I'm reading winter. That's what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. Look at the left column.
Yep.
Their march is the same as everyone else's.
Yep. I was just reading the winter side and like, oh, I don't get to control how many I move, and it was Is this?
Yeah, and so like same thing here is theoretically I could move these 2 auxilia and these 2 auxilia and deal 2 hits up here with a scout battle. So like you could, you don't necessarily care about the German allies as you care about your own allies. So you could just bring all 4 down potentially. Because it's also a little bit of a waste for me to do a scout battle, because realistically all I could do is remove those 2, and what would my other target be? Oh, I guess I could go over here and scout battle that one. So it might actually be worth doing if I get the opportunity. So it might make sense for you to leave 2 of the Germans up there just to slow me down.
I don't know how much value I'm actually gaining by moving 2 down. Maybe I'm better off just recruiting the Germans for now, so I can use them better later.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, beefing them up a little bit might be good because you know,
I think I'm gonna go with
if he starts wiping them out hard, they're gonna be slow to build back up.
Yeah, I'd rather have them as actors in the game.
Yeah, that's actually the best possible move, because it's really easy for Rome to just like wipe the Germans early, and then they kind of become a non-entity for like a good winter or 2, and that kind of reduces the Belgae's ability to be effective because they have less options with their special abilities.
All right.
So yeah, actually, I think this isn't particularly risky, and beefing them up gives you more options later, and it prevents me from, like, it's no longer desirable for me to march up here with this little contingent. It's just not worth it with that much guys. I'd have to bring Caesar, and I don't know if you noticed, but as soon as you cross the river, you have to stop marching. So my speed is effectively 1 when I'm leaving Germany, instead of the normal 2 or 3 with Caesar.
I had not noticed that.
He also
I should have explained that. No, when he enlists, he has to pick a single region for them to do something in.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he can't do multiple regions.
But I'm officially done.
Yeah, so you move up to 10 on the victory because you got
Thank you.
Yeah, you recontrolled this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Lily's up next. For either limited commands or useless event. Yeah, it makes sense to pass.
And I will also be passing.
It also passes. Yep.
Oh, I don't think I paid for my 2 marches. Let me fix that.
Okay. All right, so Apida is up. Oh, nice. Okay, so Arverni. Oh god, I hate this event so early.
Okay. Yes, I will be taking the event. So I get to place an ally here.
Oh, wait. It is only subdued cities. So you get a free one here.
Subdued cities. There we go.
Yes. But you get a free citadel there, and also a free citadel.
Oh, you're only getting... Okay, I see.
It's still a really good event for him because it allows him to get all 3 of his citadels out really early, which is going to make my life really difficult when I start going south and west. But it's not as amazing as like free ally in Britannia.
But yes, I will be taking that event regardless.
And that brings it to
that's
Lily.
Yes, and also you added. This was subdued, so I'm back down to 12.
Mm.
2.
Hmm.
Yep. All right, so Lily is up with a command plus special ability. Oh, okay. So I guess now you might. I mean, you have 8 resources, which is not a ton of money, but it's enough to maybe do another suborn if you wanted. But a trade is a good option at this moment. So if you did,
you might
trade,
you might not have this. You might not have all of this supply line connection and this many stuff out for very long. So it's a pretty lucrative trade.
I understand that, but with drought being up next, is it that good?
That's a good point.
Like drought's more concerning for me right now, honestly.
Well, so yes, you do have to examine who would actually take droughts. So like Belgae's up first. He's probably, I don't know. I mean,
I'm probably
you have to
not
decide
going
if
to
you
take
think
the
he's
event.
going to do it. Yeah, he's probably not going to do it because he's already pretty poor, and going down to 2 would suck. And also, he set up this thing, and he probably wants to follow up on it.
Exactly.
So then I would be up after him, and I'm certainly not going to take drought because I have literally no actions.
Okay.
So you're probably safe from drought. Would be my expectation. You'd be hurt the most because you have the most resources at that point, but I don't think anyone's going to actually take the event. I'll tell you what, I'm definitely not taking that event.
Okay.
If it gets to me.
I highly doubt I will take it because, the same obvious reasons.
Okay, then.
So anyway, the way trade works, or you said you might want me to re-explain it. Are you good, or do you want me to do it again?
Yeah, kind of explain it how things. So it's like, okay, so it's per.
So you find supply lines, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So from Cisalpina, like this guy's in supply lines, this one's in, one's in.
You basically check each region and see if you can trace it back to Cisalpina through your own stuff.
Do I need to have control of those areas?
Supply lines are where you control, where there's no control. So
okay.
So
all 4 of these regions can trace back.
Can't she can also get consent, can't she?
Correct. Yes. So you can also ask for consent.
Yeah.
And if you ask the Romans to give you supply through Provincia, you get double.
Double. Yep.
Okay.
So I would recommend.
So
and actually, I will give you if you agree to follow up on your giving me 3 resources, I will give you access. This
one actually is also in supply lines because you don't look at the control of the region. You just have to trace a line.
Oh, the ones back to it. Okay.
Yeah, so because
keep in mind that I was about to do that when you look favorably upon me.
So right now I have a supply of 5. Is that correct?
Yes, you have 5 allies that would be in supply lines, and then any subdued tribes where you control would also contribute, but there are none because I was a little bit silly. I guess I didn't need to do that. It would have given you and me more money, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, so you would get 5 resources when you trade, and then if I allow it, then it would double, so you'd get 10. Okay. And I would allow it as long as you give me. Oh man, I'm broke, really broke. I need 3 resources.
3
of the 5 extra that you would gain. And the only reason I'm rounding up, so normally my thing is I do half. All of my costs are 2 multiples of 2. So in this case, I'm rounding up because I need to get to a multiple of 2. But in the future, if I'm already even, then I would round down in your favor.
Okay. So I have a normal command action first.
Yep.
So I'm going to...
Actually, so given that, you could rally here, and then you would place 1 warband, but then you'd have control here, which would get you 1 more resource for trade, or 2 actually.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at doing that, so.
I don't know if you want to do some other command, but that is a good option.
No, I was looking at doing rally.
Okay, cool. So that gives.
I'll let you guys.
What are you?
And
Okay.
this isn't limited, so I could do rally in multiple locations. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Okay, but I don't think I misread some stuff, so now my brain's I think I'm also gonna rally here.
Oh, oh, you almost got me, William. That was really clever.
And then I get an extra one because it's my homeland.
No, that's just the Arverni ability.
I was sitting here.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're reading something else. What that means is even if you have no ally or citadel here, you can always rally at least one in your homeland.
Oh, okay.
So like you can't rally a warband here because you have no allies.
Right.
But
if I ever lose this, I can always rally there. Got it.
Basically, if you're ever completely board wiped, you can at least rally here and start.
Okay. Okay, so now because this is the subdued, but it's in a place I control for trade, I get +1.
Yes, so now your trade is worth
6.
6 because you have the 5 allies and the 1 subdued tribe under your.
And Roman Republic, will you let me trade through you?
Yes, and I will grant supply lines, and as discussed, it's half, which is now only 3, so you're getting actually 2 out of what you just did.
Yeah. All right, so I will.
So you get 9 and I get 3.
And I will be nice and give Mango 3.
Haha.
3?
Well, that's what we agreed on earlier.
Yeah,
So
I realized in retrospect I could have just gotten the resources right then instead of waiting.
What did he give you for 3 resources?
It was the event and a limited action, so I was able to move and put this here.
Oh, yeah, that's probably worth about 3 resources.
You just took a trade action and gained 3 resources out of it and gave 3 to each of them?
I gained.
She gained
12 resources.
12.
Oh, 12.
And
okay.
then gave me 3 and Mango 3.
I thought she gained 9. I didn't realize she'd upped it to 12.
I gained 9 because of owing Drew 3 immediately.
Yeah, I said I would agree to the thing if she split the
I understand.
extra with me. So I said she gains 9 and I gained 3, but it was amounted to 12.
Gotcha.
Technically, she gained 12 and gave me 3.
I understand.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Okay. So if you want to move the cards.
Cool. Do you want to rally anywhere else, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Cool. All right. Impetuosity. Okay. Well, anyway, Garrick is up first.
Okay. I'm sad I'm not going to get impetuosity.
Yeah, I mean, you can always pass for it.
I don't think so, but thank you. I don't think you're going to take the event. So I think I'm safe to do the command with special ability.
I'm definitely not.
Right.
You would just give up the 3 resources that I just gained and
Exactly.
put me back at an awkward, odd number that I can't do anything with.
So I'm going to battle in here.
Okay.
Cost a resource per region. Oof. Resources are tough. Did you know this?
So I got to make some deals.
I am the otters. I'm just very bad at it.
I don't know. Chat was saying that you were going to win.
I'm half asleep. Sure. I don't know.
Oh, this
why,
should
but
be
I'm
down to 7. Oh, this is still 7. Never mind. It was briefly down to 6, but I believe now back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 7 now.
Yeah.
How much danger is this fort so I don't have to try and figure it out myself right now.
Really, the risk of having a fort there is that it allows me to march a big pile of stuff there and then be safe from you attacking before I get to fight you, because it halves your hits.
Right.
So
yeah.
it kind of is just a cover for me to be able to march in and not have to take the risk of you hitting me.
You're right, William. Always bet on Lily. Yeah, I'll battle in these two places, and
Okay.
I'm doing a special action. I don't think I need to ambush, right? Because I'm gonna kill you anyway.
You do not really need to push, yeah.
Yeah, so I will just enlist and have Germany recruit again.
Well, actually, okay, so this is still what you should do, what you just did, but and I think I forgot to explain this. I think I was planning on getting to it when it was relevant. So my forts and my legions and also everyone's leaders roll when they take a hit, and they only die on a 1-2 earth. So
Right,
that's like
you
the one
alluded
time
to
where
this.
those dice come in.
Can't you bypass that if you ambush them?
Correct. So I was just going to say the value of ambush is that it ignores that and automatically removes pieces without rolling.
Unless Caesar's defending.
Exactly. The one sub exception to the exception is if Caesar is defending, I get to roll a single die, and then if I hit, what is it? It's a 4 through 6. Yeah, there it is. Then I still get to roll for my legions, even ambush. Basically, I get to roll, and on a 4 through 6, I cancel your ambush.
All right, so
the advantage here is that like I'm going to roll on this fort for every hit until it dies, and the fort might actually survive. And same thing up there, potentially.
I have
statistically likely
2 hits here, and then I have these are doubled. Right?
Yeah, you're going to kill it here. You have what 8, 9 hits. It's halved because of the fort, so you have 4. So you're going to kill 2 auxilia, and then I'm going to take 2 rolls on the. And then up here, you're going to do 1 hit with these guys.
Oh, right, because it's
so there's
halved.
a 50-50 shot of this fort getting removed. So you could like ambush up here just to guarantee that fort gets removed, or also here.
Yeah.
But personally, I feel like more Germans is more important.
I agree. So the question is really
you.
just if I want to bother battling in that upper region since I'm tight on resources. That's pre-spending.
That's a good point. You haven't spent yet?
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think I want to fight up here, knowing that.
Yeah, that's definitely not worth it.
So I spent my resource.
I thought you'd already spent.
Nope. I spent my resource, and I will fight in here.
Okay. So, actually, I could try and retreat. I might as well try and retreat. Which means I take hits on the fort first, and if I get wildly lucky and roll 4 successes, then these 2 guys could actually survive. So I will try and retreat.
Okay, interesting.
So that means, did I count that right? 8, 9. Yeah. So you're doing 4 rolls. So I'm just gonna roll. I should roll 2 dice at a time. So there's 2 auxilia. That is apparently a 6 and a 4. So the fort survives 2 hits.
Oh boy.
So then I'll roll 1 die now because.
Oh my goodness.
Oh geez. So one auxilia is definitely surviving.
Yep. Oh my
hey! Oh my god, that is ridiculous. My dice streak from John Company holds true. I can only roll 5 since apparently.
Man, that sucks.
In this game, it's good. In that game, it is not good.
Ugh.
I'll reinforce.
This is very, very not good.
Where do I want to go next?
William,
everything is bad.
I get resources by passing. I know that.
You'll get them in winter in the harvest too, which should be coming up relatively soon.
Yeah, that was what he was initially asking.
7, 8, 9. So there's at least one more card that's definitely not winter on top of the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also can raid, Garrick. Once you run out of resources, you can just
Start
raid
raiding,
in
yeah.
all 4 of these regions and flip up 2 each to revealed, and then you have 8 resources right there.
Yeah.
So you're fine. It's just it takes a full action to do raids, so
Yeah.
it slows you down. But if you need money mid-campaign, you can get it.
All right. I guess I'm hideously unlucky, and that is my turn.
Yeah, that was some hideous rolling for you.
Yeah.
Great for me. I guess it's worth pointing out now, since we're talking about resources, when winter comes and harvest happens, the way resources are meted out is just your amount of allies times, let's see, slightly different for each faction. And
It's ×2 for the Gauls, right?
I believe it's ×2 for all of the Gauls, and then it's just my victory marker.
Yeah, 2 times number of allies, tribes, and citadels.
Yep. Okay, great. So Garrick, on during winter, you can expect currently 8 resources to come in. Lily, the Adui are very rich, and so they get double your allies, which will be 10, and then they always get a flat +4 on top of that. So you'd be getting 14 when winter shows up.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, I'm next. So I am not anywhere near the front of the next card, which is sad. So I guess I will take. Oh God, that's terrible. Well, now's the time to do it, even if I wish I could get out of this. All right, I'm going to do a limited command, and I'm going to seize over here in Ubi. So the way seize works is I disperse subdued tribes. Where is dispersal mark? That is weird. Am I missing something? You'd think they'd be by me. Oh, here they are. They are by. Okay. So I'm dispersing 2 tribes. When I do that, I generate 6 resources per dispersed marker. And then separately, I generate 2 resources per subdued tribe. So it's a limited command, so I can only do here. But like, if I had a full command, I could get 3 resources from my allies and subdued tribes. I'm sorry, 6, because it's 2 per. And whatever. So anyway, I get 12 resources now. Then, if the Arverni or the Belgae have any pieces adjacent to that region, you roll a die. And for each die that hits on a 1-3, you get to free rally in adjacent regions. So Arverni is not adjacent to me anywhere, but Belgae is. So Garrick, roll a die.
Single die.
Single die. And
3.
on a 1, 2, or 3, you get to free rally in all adjacent regions.
Adjacent
so
to
I think the only
here,
region adjacent to where I seized.
Yeah.
So the only one that's relevant is you get a free ally there, because, yeah. But like if you'd had, an ally down here or something like that, or an ally up here, you would rally in all of them.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, so that moves my victory marker down by 1, sadly. And then that is it for me.
That moved me up by 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 5, 6.
Also, this isn't relevant because there's nobody in this region, but also any Gauls can get essentially a free harass, which is where you remove a piece if you have 3 hidden warbands, or for every 3 hidden warbands. So like if there were some Germans sitting down here, they would automatically harass me and I would lose a piece.
Gotcha.
So a fairly low consequence seize for you there.
Well, it locks down the Germans pretty hard for the next ideally I would have liked to have seized in both of them just to like completely shut them down. And there's winter.
Ooh.
That sucks for me. But it was good for the money. Rome always needs a good war chest. But more importantly, it's like this is just a completely dead region, which is likely to stay empty and uncontrolled for the most part. So it's nice for me, like in terms of supply lines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, speaking of supply lines,
Yep.
winter just showed up, so that is very bad for me because I am fully stuck back here. And this is literally the earliest that card possibly could have come out.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I thought it had to be 11 or greater, but yeah, I guess. Oh, it is the 11th card. Oh, it's the 10th card. How is that possible?
That is weird. It should be the 11th card. I wonder if we have a.
Oh, it is. There's one. There's one by Lily. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
that's right.
Lily,
Yeah. Lily took the capability. Yeah.
There we go.
We did it, gang.
Yeah. So that is literally the earliest possible card that the winter came. So I was like, I needed the money and I needed to lock it down as soon as I could. But now I'm gonna end up spending all my money on these guys. So that's sad.
And so the frost blocks does the frost block the event from this march?
No, so frost just blocks march commands. But if someone were to take this event, then that could still happen.
Gotcha.
There aren't really any good targets for it necessarily, since like Belgame might have taken it if they were eligible and didn't have better things to do on the previous card, but
yeah. I mean, I guess I could come and take Sequani.
Yeah, exactly. Like the kind of the most useful move for this, and that doesn't actually change anything.
It doesn't change it, except for I could wipe out your Auxilia there, but that would just save you some money.
Well, these guys can go back because they are in supply lines,
right.
Because they're adjacent to Cisalpina, so they're already there. But it's probably Idui's up first, actually. So it kind of depends on what she does. I was going to say it's probably better for you just to rally, but
I was assuming I'm going to get a limb up. Yeah. Or limb com, I guess, for abbreviating this.
Yes, it is a limb com, technically. So Lily's first eligible.
If Lily's still awake. Come on, Lily.
The Idui command is asleep at the helm.
Hey, we heard laughing.
I'm here. What does the frost mean again?
You cannot take the march.
You cannot take a march command.
Yeah.
Okay.
That does not count the march command that's on the card if you choose to take the event.
Okay.
Not that event's particularly useful for you.
Yeah, that is a dead event for Idui.
I'm kind of I'm curious if it's good for you. I was just checking.
It doesn't really help me. I don't think I'd be taking it. I'd probably be just doing a limited something somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
the main thing that he might do with it is like march over here and battle, but I wouldn't be
battling. I wouldn't be battling you in that case. I would be battling Rome, but I could take control.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm not sure that really makes sense for him, but that is probably, if he takes the event, that's probably what he would do.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth you taking the non-special just to block that.
Yeah,
I guess.
No, I think I still want to do the special one. And I can do it twice.
Wait.
What's up?
Hang on.
Oh yeah, I could come and wipe. I could come and wipe you out of.
Quite.
I could come and wipe you out of Biturgus.
Good.
Lily is one ally away from actually just auto winning right now. Sorry, Lily, you can't win the game yet.
I know.
But just to illustrate the
She's
kinds
one
of
away?
things that everyone should. Yes, so just to illustrate the
Yeah.
kinds of things that ADOE can do, especially with this capability.
I'm gonna
she
rally.
could- So she could suborn here,
she could remove one
suborn
of,
here. Oh shoot! No, she actually can do it. She can
I
suborn
can?
and rally and win the game.
because she can do it twice, right? And take away one of Mango's and also place one.
Well, it'd be on
I-
Mango to stop her, but yes. So if she suborns here and
If
then
I
puts enough
rally-
guys down,
I can rally here. Oh, no, yeah, I can rally here for and spend it for here. This.
yep. So that's
'cause I
yeah, that's a
control
rally.
that.
And then,
Then
if you suborn there,
Suborn. Yep.
and then place two
and-
warbands, which I think gives you control if I'm able to count. Yep.
No, I think
Yeah.
it does. Oh,
Yeah, he has 3 pieces, and you now have 4.
Well, I
which
wanna
then allows
do
you to
suborn
rally.
again.
And yeah, you can suborn more elsewhere.
All I need to do. Woo!
So now,
So now I have to take that event so I can stop her.
now you have to somehow find a way to stop Lily. Yes.
Wait, when you
Wait,
take the
wait,
second
I gotta-
suborn, you get to do more, don't you?
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you
get
could
to-
place
I
2
get
more.
to-
And you got to rally. Oh, actually, I guess you don't need to rally.
I
Suborn
don't
that
need
away.
to. Like, I could. I don't know when the win conditions are checked or things.
Well, the
They're
win
gonna be
conditions are
checked-
checked immediately as soon as the winter card happens. So basically, the only
Gotcha.
one who's going to be able to take an action before the victory check happens is Mango with the Arverni on this.
Well,
card.
yeah, I guess if you
Okay, so
rally,
I can-
but if she rallied in Arverni here and placed another ally, I
I
actually
don't
can't
think you
stop her.
can do anything. Yeah, the only way would be to kill both of these.
Rally
I'd be
there.
I
One,
need
two,
how many?
three,
1, 2, 3, 4,
Or,
5 hits, and it's rounded down to half because of the.
yep, because of the Citadel.
I'm gonna rally here too, just for the fun of it. All right, I'm done. Spent all of my money. Let's go.
Yep. So that is definitely an ADOE victory, unless, because the other thing you could do is just battle a bunch, but I don't think you can battle anywhere. Like you could battle here and easily remove that. Is there a second battle somewhere where you could pick off one?
Well, he's
Ally.
not limited. It would be a
The
limited
other,
action.
actually, here's the other question: is there any way for you to get to? Oh yeah, you're right. It's a limited action. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
It's
So my only
limited.
option, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I think she won.
I think she did. Yep.
Yep, that's it.
Oh damn! I shouldn't have taken that event that exchanged the citadels. I should have gone and messed her up a little bit.
Yeah. So that is definitely the most common ADOE victory condition is they get this capability, and they have a very last minute double suborn with a rally lined up, and they just pull ahead.
That's amazing.
Yep. And actually, that worked out really well because now we don't have to split session this, which means it is actually a really excellent intro to coin video.
I was just
that's
typing
not,
that
overly
in chat.
long.
It's a perfect introduction to Falling Sky.
Yep. So cool. Go us. Good job, Lily.
Yay!
Yeah, good game, Lily. Congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean that was really fun for me, even though I just lost horribly. But
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I also lost because technically after that little
oh yeah, you're way down.
spree, I'm way down here.
But yeah,
Hey, I got second place.
Yes, actually, you
But
did.
also I
You
lost
did.
the hardest by not policing that better.
Oh wait, actually no. So technically, okay. So Lily wins with technically 2 points because her victory threshold or 1 point. So having 7 would be 0. This is 1 point. Garrick has negative 5 points because you're 5 points away from your victory. I have -8 points. And then Mango has -3 on the Legion side, plus -3, so he's -6.
Well, no, because I thought Arverni just takes the worst of their two negatives, and that's their score.
No, that is you take the worst of the two if you're playing two factions. Then you take the worst of the two scores. If I'm remembering the victory margin correct.
Well, now we have.
I think if it's normal, if you're just doing Arverni, well, we could check actually. Let's find out.
Is
This is the second time you've made me check the rules. How embarrassing. That's solo stuff.
So if you're all negative, does that mean I just got 0 points?
You got 1 point.
I got
A
1
score
point.
of 0. A score of 0 is a victory, exactly on the victory threshold, and then 1 point is above it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Instead of taking that event, I should have gone down and done some conversion there. Not conversion, but what is it called?
Entreat. Yeah,
Entreat,
you probably should have
yeah.
entreated a little bit more, but that's okay.
But I also wanted her to get that trade so I could get the resources.
Yes, exactly.
You had incentive
That's
to not
the
agree.
Yep, that's the mixed incentives at play in this game and in all the coin games really. Okay, so here's the victory threshold stuff. Let's see. Final winter. Oh no, you're right. You're right. Actually, it is lower of the off-map Legion or Arverni tribes, and they were both at -3.
Okay.
That says for the final winter.
So you
doesn't
were
it?
in second place. Yes, technically that doesn't matter. That's only how you if nobody wins, that's how you decide
Right.
who wins is whoever had the highest threshold.
Got it.
But if you care about keeping score, then technically those are the scores
Got
for
it.
this game.
Got it.
That's why I was asking.
Since somebody said I'm basically in last place because of that scoring method, but technically it doesn't matter. Lily won, we all lost.
Yes. If you ain't first, you last.
Exactly.
So after we finished the stream, we realized we should have run through the winter phase just to have a comprehensive teach. And, pretending as though Lily had not won. So what follows is us running through the winter phase, explaining each of the individual steps, pretending Lily had not won.
Welcome back to part 2 of this stream where no one is watching,
the secret
but we're
mod
recording
stream.
it for posterity.
I will maybe add this to YouTube. Drew, why don't you teach us how the winter phase works if Lily had not destroyed us?
Yes. Okay, so assuming Lily had not done what she did, there's the victory check phase down here. So we just skip that. And then we go to the Germans phase. So there's this little German flowchart on the right. So what they do is they do all 4 of their actions in order. So first they're going to rally. So anywhere where they are present, they rally as normal. So they're present here, but they don't have control, so they don't get anything. They're present here, but they're maxed out on allies, so they just do bands instead. And then they always can rally one band in any German region. Yeah, because of that, exactly. And also, I guess technically they rally allies and then also rally bands, but there's nowhere where allies can be played. Then they are going to march out of regions where they have one German warband greater than control required. So in this case, they're going to march all of their warbands out of here because they can leave the 2 allies behind and still maintain control of that region. Basically, they never give up control of their region. They're going to take as many as they can without losing control, and then they're going to target regions where they can generate control. So what do they have? 7, 8, 9, 10. So they can pretty much control any of these adjacent regions, except for maybe this one. 1, 2, 11. Yes, they cannot control Treveri. They don't have enough. They can control here easily. They can control here easily, and they can control here.
And they don't split up. They do just one per origin.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So their first priority is to add control. If they have equal regions, then they target players first in case we were running a Belgay bot or bot, and there were just 3 of us or something, and then random. So this is 1 or 2, this is 3 or 4, and this is 5 or 6, and die somewhere. Here we go.
Are the dice all blue for everyone else? They were colored earlier.
Oh, they're colored for me now.
They're always
They
been
started
for me.
blue. They started blue. I painted them earlier. Oh shit! It's a 6. That's terrible. Okay, so they all march down here.
As they should.
Rip me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that is 11. Ouch. Okay, are there any other marches to be done? This guy's not going anywhere. So that's it. I think Germans are 5.
Yeah, I was like, check 1, check 6, on to 5.
Yep. Okay, so then they raid everywhere they can. So this guy is gonna steal from Garrick. So Garrick loses a resource. They would have rolled a die to see who they target, but they can't target me because I have a 4.
Gotcha.
In this area, they target me for raids, so they're gonna flip 2, and then they will take 2 of my resources. And then finally, after how many guys anywhere else do they? Nope. After that, they do battle wherever they can ambush.
Wait,
so
real
they
quick.
can't ambush.
Why do they
Go ahead.
only do 2 here?
Raid is always maximum of 2.
Okay, got it.
Like if you look at their raid action, it's always 1 to 2 hidden German warbands.
Got it. I was just confused because the winter one just says as many as possible.
Yeah, so it basically these are just telling you how to implement their actions
gotcha.
on the left. So it's like referencing over here, and as many as possible too.
Makes sense.
But yeah, that's a good question in terms of how to read this thing. Okay, so then they go on to battle and ambush. They only battle where they can ambush and where they would cause an enemy loss. So like they can't ambush here, and even if they did, it's a half loss, so they wouldn't do anything. So they just skip that one. Obviously, they have a shit
They're
ton
gonna
of
wreck
stuff.
some Romans here.
Yeah, they're gonna wreck some Romans. So they have more hidden pieces than me. 8 or 7. Can't add
9.
9 to my 4. So they ambush. And then we just do the battle chart. So they're hitting 1, 2, 5 hits. They are ambushing, so I'm not allowed to retreat.
And you don't get to roll for the Legion.
And I don't get to roll for the legions. Yep. So we're just over here into this part of the chart. Well, honestly, you don't really need the flowchart after like battles. We don't know how it works. So I'm taking 5 losses basically. So boom, ouch, mega ouch. So Legion goes into Fallen, and these Uxs are dead. This is good though. Actually, now you get to see how this Fallen Legion Senate process works. So that's it for the Germans. We are done with phase. So now we go to quarters. So first the Germans, then the Gauls in order from, gosh, I think it's Belgae, then Aedui. I always forget the exact order.
It's on the sequence of play up here.
Yeah.
Germanic first, then Belgae, then Aedui, then Arverni.
Why is that thing? Is that mirrored for anyone else? There we go.
Yeah, there it goes. It's a tile, and they do that automatically. Or a token,
Oh, cool.
I think.
Got it right. Belgae and then Aedui. Cool. So what? Basically, what you do in quarters for the Germans and the Gauls is you may move any of your warbands and leaders to adjacent regions that are not devastated that you also control, or that someone agrees to allow you to move into that they control. Uh-oh, bye, Lily. We need you to do your quarters.
Oh,
She probably went to bed.
Yeah, she's going to bed.
That's okay. So there's no devastation. We get to see that aspect of the game, but so the Germans just don't do anything. Because they only use quarters to relocate to Germania if they're stuck in devastated areas. So now, Belgae, you can relocate all your stuff in between regions where you control. So any of these guys can go up here, these guys can go over, however you want. Honestly, this is like a decent setup, so you might not want to do anything. But
Yeah,
you do have
like,
the opportunity to
I sort of
reshuffle your stuff around.
I thought at most maybe I'd throw this guy over here.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Normally,
Yeah,
you want 2 here because,
because
like, if
it's
a
one
Dewey
hit, yeah.
comes with 1 guy, you want to kill him. So
Yeah,
you need
exactly.
2. And also, if you only have 1, then like Arverni can plop 1 over there, and then in a future action, just entreat the single guy, and then you're gone.
Yeah,
so,
that makes
like,
sense
2
too.
is a nice buffer, strategically speaking. Okay, but yeah, so you don't want to really move.
I would move these 2 guys over there to defend against a scout.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
Dewey,
probably it. Yeah.
A Dewey probably doesn't do anything because they want to be as spread out as possible. They just chill. We'll just say for now. Then the Romans. So Romans can move any of their pieces to adjacent undevastated regions that they control or in agreeing factions. So I have no options because Arverni is never going to agree, and neither is the Belgae. So these guys are stuck here.
Yep.
These guys can move down here because Adui probably would agree to do that since I've lost some stuff, and they're probably more worried about the Arverni at this point. Well,
or would have been.
They're not worried about anything. But if she hadn't, then she probably would do it. So we'll move that there. This technically flows back to control. There we go. 2, that's right. Then what I have to do.
No, this should go to no control, right?
No, I think I have an. Oh yeah, you're right. There's an ally. Yep. Good catch. So then I may move any legions or auxilia that are inside supply lines back to Provincia, and then I can move my leader from anywhere back to Provincia. So I'm going to take everybody here, and my leader will go back. These guys are not in supply lines, so they're stranded.
Your leader's just like, peace out, army. I'll see you later.
Yes, totally.
I've got Caesar-y things to do.
Exactly. So then, for every legion and auxilia outside Provincia, I have to pay to keep it there. 1 resource if they have an ally next to them, and then 2 resources if not. And then that amount is also doubled if it's devastated. So luckily there is an ally here, so I have to pay 1 for these guys.
But the ally also pays for 1 for free, right?
Correct, yeah. So the ally takes care of 1 for free. Because the ally's there, these guys are cheaper to keep wintered up in that region. So I have to pay 8 resources. Oof. So literally all of my money from the last 2 actions is gone. And again, this is where devastation comes in. Like if Arverni can strand me and then also devastate the region that I'm in, like imagine if I had no ally and this was devastated, that would cost me
would have been 18
resources.
Oh, 32. Yeah, because it's 4 per.
Yeah,
right?
it's 8 times 4. Or actually, I have 9 there, so technically that. So it can get really expensive really fast. That's where devastation is super for the Arverni to leverage whenever possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also have to have control to devastate, and I didn't really have enough to pull that region from you.
Well, a nifty trick that hadn't really been relevant yet, but was probably about to be, is because Vercingetorix can march 2 regions, you can march in somewhere, interrupt the march to devastate in that region, and then march out of it. Can
I devastate without control if he's in the region?
Yeah, you do have to establish control. So you would have needed, let's say, this many guys, right? What is that? 8, 9, 10, 11 with Arverni. So I have 8, 9, 10. So that would have been enough right there.
Yeah.
Is you could march these guys in like so, interrupt your movement to do your devastation special ability, and then just come right back. Or go somewhere else if you want.
Yeah.
You want. So that is super powerful. Especially because you also would. Oh yeah, sorry. How many do you have here? You would lose 2 warbands because you have it's 1 in 4 for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 9 pieces, so I would lose 3. So there goes 3 auxilia right away.
Hey, I'm saving you $12 there.
Well, yeah, in this case you wouldn't want to do that, but mid game, whenever you have that opportunity, it's taking just to like march in, snipe some auxilia, and then go somewhere inconvenient for me, basically. So that's like one little devastate trick. But anyway, yeah, so I have to pay, and if I can't or decide not to pay, then I roll a die for every piece that I did not pay for, and on a 1 to 3, they are dead. So, on average, I'm going to lose, if I can't afford this stuff, I'm going to lose two more of my legions and 2 auxiliaries.
So once you run out of money, you have to roll for the rest. It's not
Yes.
like okay.
Exactly. So that's my quarters. This time I was able to pay for it. And what I was planning on doing, I knew the possibility of this winter card coming out this early existed, but what I was hoping for was one more full action so that I could have. I probably was going to need to march in here, but I also was hoping to recruit in this region before she dropped her ally down, so that I could keep pieces here and also keep some pieces there, which kind of sets me up to like get a jump start on the next round.
Yeah.
If you don't have any allies to like keep you extended a little bit, then like everything comes back to Provincia and you kind of start from square one. So there's a little bit of management that you can do with putting allies down as the Romans. So anyway, then that is quarters. So I think I'm done with my quarters. Yeah, that's all the pieces I have. So then we move on to harvest. So Romans, I'm getting 8 resources because that's my current victory score. Belgae are getting 10 because allies times 2. Arverni are getting 12, allies times 2. Adui
Gets 16.
Assuming she hadn't done what she did, she would have been at like 6. She gets 12, and then she gets an additional +4 always, so she's up to 17.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Adui are very rich, very fast.
Yeah.
And they need to be because Saborin is very expensive.
Yeah.
So in terms of as the Arverni, fighting against the Adui is all about making sure they're really, really poor all the time. So like entreating them, entreating their allies is way cheaper for the Arverni. 1, it costs them 2, well technically 4. They have to remove and replace twice. And then also raiding them a lot.
Yeah, I was going to come up with a big strategy. I was going to be doing a big entreat if I managed to get first on the card again.
If you had another action. So anyway, that is harvest.
So then we move on to Senate?
And then we move on to Senate, yep. So because I'm currently below this little sweet spot threshold, I'm moving up towards uproar.
Yep.
Then half rounded down remain unavailable in the Fallen Legion box. Rest go back to the Senate box.
Oh yeah, I would actually be up to 5 there. Haha.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so if
so like let's say I had lost 2, for example. Half, like one of those legions is just going to be stuck on the Fallen Legions box for another round until next winter.
And if that had been there and he hadn't gone to uproar, he would have just gotten it back.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So this guy comes back into play immediately. Well, actually, no. I went up to uproar technically. So,
right.
So
if you hadn't gone up to uproar.
Yeah. So he goes over there, and then I completely empty whatever row I'm in. So this legion would have come back. If I managed to get down to adulation, then all 5 of the guys would come in.
And they'd all come to Provincia?
They always go into Provincia, yeah. But in this case, I'm at uproar, so I get nothing. And Arverni is 1 more point towards victory.
But you still get your 3 auxilia.
Yes, and then as long as I bring back, like technically I can leave him out here if I want to. As long as I bring him back, then I get some amount of auxilia. And in this case, 3.
Do you need to have Caesar back to get the legions?
No, the legions always come in. The bonus auxilia is only if Caesar is present.
Gotcha.
And that is the Senate phase, and then finally we go to winter. So any dead leaders come back into play wherever you want, but flipped to their successor side. All devastation markers are removed. So like if Arverni had done any devastating, then these go away.
Yep.
The dispersed markers flip to their scouted side or their gathering side, and then this one gets removed completely. Anything that is revealed goes to hidden, and if it's scouted, the scout gets removed. So everything basically fully goes back to hidden. And then everybody becomes eligible. And then I guess technically this is over here.
Yeah, technically this was here.
You as soon as winter happens, you actually do get to see the next card. So we should have done this, and then
Yeah, I got
Arverni can see that they're first up next, so that kind of affects maybe their quarters movement. And
Yeah,
such.
the way they redistribute their pieces.
Yep. And then that's winter. So we move card over, draw a new one, and then we do that whole round over again until somebody wins immediately or we get to the fourth winter.
Yep.
So that is the winter phase, illustrated how things can go badly for the Romans, illustrated how the Germans work. Yeah.
And that makes a nice, complete teach that I can append to
awkwardly edit together in post.
In an alternate timeline.
Yes. The timeline where Lily didn't demolish all of us.
If we had noticed that slightly sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally hyper focused on how the heck to extract myself from suddenly bad position. Like I was in a good position, and then Garrick did this. I got like 3 lim ops when I got a slightly higher number of limited commands than I expected, and all was sad.
Yeah, I think I only got 1 full op.
Yeah, you had some pretty weird. You did get a good event, but you otherwise only got 1 full command that I remember seeing.
Yeah.
And that's something that can happen, and you kind of got to plan for it. And over a full game, it tends to balance.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no. Once when I realized that it was just operating in those cities, I should have reevaluated that a little harder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
it's so hard to pass that up because it's just 2 free citadels.
And like I said, I did want to get that trade so I could get the money out of it.
But yeah, I think
because otherwise because my next move was to come down here and treat.
Yep.
Entreat here, and here.
Yep.
But she didn't have one here yet. I was going to entreat here, and here.
Yeah, these 2 and that one.
Yep. Oh, and I can't do there. Oh, I guess he would have been here, so I would have entreated those 2. But
or these 3 potentially.
Oh yeah, the 3. That's right. I knew I could get 3. I was like, where was that third one? Yeah.
Yep.
Next time, I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Next time.
I'll shut down this stream. Thank you everyone for watching. We will probably do this again next week or something. We'll certainly try to. And then I know we were talking about Maria as well. Sunday we have Splatters.
Hopefully
We might.
soon.
We were talking about doing something tomorrow morning. I don't think we decided.
I will say that I will be streaming a game of Station Fall for anyone who might be interested in that tomorrow evening.
Excellent. Perfect. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. We will catch you next time. Have a good one.